Without waiting for Yunwoo to say anything, Yunqi is ready to leave. Grandfather, can I ask you a question? However, at this time, Yunwoo suddenly spoke. Yunqi turns his head and looks at Yunwoo. What's the matter? My mother, is it also purple pupil? Cloud Dance seems to ask this question casually. However, Yunqi was stunned. Then his brow wrinkled slightly, and he stopped for a few seconds before he said, That year, I went out at the border, and I didn't see your mother with my own eyes. However, I heard that when she was angry, her eyes did turn purple with her mood. When angry, will it turn purple? Before, I heard Bai Lao say that Zitong is a noble and unique existence in the witch family. So her mother is really a witch? Is the queen also? This side is not calm, however, at this time on the other side, the same as some chicken fly dog jump. Cave deep in the forest. A middle-aged man, smoking all over, dragging a round little thing, came in angrily. Master! What's the matter? It's not to say that you can't disturb my master's practice at this time. Sitting on the rock in the cave, the old man with white hair opened his wise eyes and frowned at the more and more impetuous apprentice. This has happened many times and frequently. The middle-aged man seems to have been unbearable. A hand to the small things to the ground. The small things cry a pain, rolling several rolls on the ground. And then stop. Raised his head, opened his big eyes, looked at the old man sitting on the rock, rubbed his tummy with his little paw. Master Pain. The old man raised his eyes and looked at the middle-aged man. No trace. Didn't he tell you that you shouldn't abuse it during this period of time? What are you doing? The middle-aged man had no trace. Smelling the words, he looked at the poor stink of the clothes on the ground. He was so angry that he almost bit his teeth. Master, I didn't mean to disturb your cleaning and repair, nor to abuse it. Instead, the immature glazed fruit tree we planted outside, even with its roots and skins, was eaten up by this ghost. It took decades for the fruit tree to grow successfully, and it took 100 years to produce the fruit. It's not mature yet. I saw it this morning. Not to mention the green fruit, even the bark and roots have disappeared. Only such a big round belly, fat as a ball like stink, burping lying on the ground. You don't have to guess. You know it's eaten. 100 years of painstaking efforts are flowing eastward. It's strange if you don't get angry. What's more, I don't know how many times in the past half a month it has nibbled the precious elixir. The most hateful thing is that it doesn't take the most precious and rare thing, and it only takes the most precious and rare thing. He was so angry that he almost couldn't help slapping it to death many times. However, his master, since he brought it back, just set up a border within 100 meters outside, and did not have the freedom to detain it. At first, this little thing will be afraid of them, and will be restrained. However, slowly, it was like a mountain king. Except for the rock area under the old man's buttocks, any inch of land within the boundary was abused by it. What's more, the most unbearable thing is that this little thing only picked fruit to eat at first, but later, it seems to have a bigger and bigger appetite, and it's not picky anymore. It's almost a good thing. Even the belt core, even the tree root, it can eat directly. In particular, no matter how he hides good things, his nose can smell them. If you don't give it to eat, it will steal it. Once or twice it can almost be said that it has been tried repeatedly. Every time I was so angry that I almost wanted to stamp it. The old man frowned at the speech. Glass fruit tree? The stink of fat circle on the ground, aware that the atmosphere is not right, quickly got up from the ground, put its little fat legs straight at the old man's side. He stretched out his claw and pulled the leg of the old man's trousers. His voice was pitiful. Master, he's bad. He won't give me food. I'm hungry. Half a month later, at the beginning, the little thing who can only speak 2 words has become more and more fluent during this period. It's enough to make an uncle smoke. I won't give you food? You stinky thing. I just gave you 10 big fruits last night. Do you know that 1 big fruit, 1 for a human, is enough for 10 days without eating? I gave you 10 at a time. How dare you say I won't give you anything to eat? Believe it or not, I'll beat you to death. Since Wu Trace got along with this stink, the cultivation demeanor of hundreds of years has all disappeared in this half-month. Not to mention the demeanor, it can almost be said that even the most basic patience was lost this morning. At that time, it completely disappeared. Master, I've killed people. Smelly, that little fat claw drag, that round body, immediately climbed up the rock, rushed into the old man's arms. Strange to say, it was this strange old man who arrested him, but since this period of time, the treatment of little Stink is really very good. This old man is also very partial to it. Make this Stink some overjoyed. Master, look at it. It's really going too far. If it goes on like this, we don't have to find the owner of the contract. We need to eat up our 7 immortals. We have to eat up our family. Seeing the Stink and rushing into the old man's arms, a pair of Stink of seeking protection. No Trace was fuming in his heart. The old man's eyes of wisdom and vicissitudes, looking down at the Stink lying in his arms. Deep in his eyes is the deep meditation. As if aware of his sight, little Stinky grinned and showed his fangs. I'm hungry. Really? A low and dignified voice came from the old man's mouth. Small Stink on his line of sight, subconsciously shrunk for a while, some fear in the bottom of my heart. However, he still pouted and waved his fat claws. Really, you see, I'm growing. I'm hungry. In fact, it's almost up to the throat now. In just half a month, he ate himself to support a big fat ball, which shows how hard he ate. But who called 2 old men, every day shut it, do not let it go out looking for hemp. Then it eat up their things, angry them. The old man stares at its grievance, and his eyes are deep and wise. Little Stink was staring at his hairy face. Even if he is hungry, take him to Dashi Orchard and let him have enough. The old man suddenly raised his eyes to see the traceless, deep mouth. Originally also want to master the master of no trace, a listen, silly eyes. Big fruit, in their eyes, although not very precious, but in the eyes of the world, but also need to spend a lot of money on precious things. If you take this smelly thing with you, according to its never-ending mouth, I don't know how much appetite it has, and it won't eat it up? Master, don't you listen to me as a teacher? The old man's face sank slightly. No Trace immediately lowered his head and said respectfully, No Trace dare not. Then go. The old man said and handed over the big ball lying in his arms. No Trace, even if all sorts of unwilling, but still took it. Some angry force grabbed it. Smelly in his grip its strength, eat pain grin, revealing its sharp fangs. You pinch me, I want to tell the master. You dare. Traceless glares and murmurs. Teacher well. As soon as Stink opened his mouth full of tusks was blocked by a fruit. Turn around, No Trace body shape in a flash. Holding it, the figure immediately disappeared in the hole. The old man left in the cave, deep in vicissitudes, the direction outside the cave. Even if you don't come to find your contract beast, let it go back to you. I hope that if you dare to steal the 7 immortals of this throne, you will be able to repay the loss of this throne. Low voice in the cave, like the wind blowing gently sounded. Yunwu didn't know that the Stink that she had hatched unintentionally at the beginning came from the hand of Phoenix to the hand of the mysterious old man. For no reason, it caused an enigmatic enemy. Naturally, I don't know. Apart from the scene in the forest, there are many things happening in Morong Mansion of Los Angeles. Los Angeles. Recently, Morong Mansion has paid frequent visits to its guests. And all of us are looking for the same person. It's the girl who has a pair of purple pupils. That is Yunwu, who used the name of 5 phoenixes at the beginning. At this time, Morong Mansion gate. The bodyguard quickly stopped the woman in red, who was as beautiful as fire. Girl, why are you again? I have said that there are really no women with purple eyes in our house. Please go back. From the border, she began to search for information, and finally found some clues. However, she didn't get a satisfactory reply for several days. The woman was already impatient. Looking at the guard who stopped her, a flame flashed through the woman's beautiful eyes, and a high temperature in the air could be felt all the way. Did not give anyone a chance to react. Hand a pat, directly blocked in front of her bodyguard to shoot away. Today, if you don't give me the people, I'll burn all your houses. He has a big voice, which is very hot. This woman, no one else, is the original Phoenix in Maple Ridge. Because his child was caught by the mysterious old man, he had to find out the woman anyway. First, he wanted to exchange his child back, and second, He wanted the human to release the contract on his child. How can it be a contract animal for a human being? That's a shame. The loud fury soon led to the people in the room. Today, however, there are quite a lot of people, not only Zhou Feiyu but also Yin Lingyi. This girl, what's the matter? You might as well settle it in a good voice. Why do you want to burn people's houses when you open your mouth? In fact, just a few people, that is, heard the sound of burning the house, just came out. I believe everyone in Los Angeles knows that the 5 phoenixes burned the Morong branch as soon as they appeared. This kind of bold appearance is really rare. But obviously it's not the one in front of us. Hearing the sound, Feng Huingve glanced at the person who came out. When she saw Yin Lingyi, her eyes narrowed and frowned. Is it you? When Yin Lingyi saw Feng Huingve, her rigorous face also frowned. It's you. Why are you here? Feng Huingve's eyes are quite irritable. It's not because you human beings are so mean that you are here today. Let someone give me the black face and purple pupil woman of that day immediately. A woman with black face and purple eyes? Cloud coldy smell speech, eyes tiny narrow up. Today, Yin Lingyi doesn't associate Wu Feng with the black-faced girl on the battlefield that day. He will come because not long ago, his deputy general was abandoned by a black-faced girl. And he heard that the dry daughter of the Lord Morong in Los Angeles knows how to cure broken bones. At the same time, the 7th Prince Zhou Feiyu also came, and he came to visit with him. After he came here, he learned from Morong Cloud that his daughter had gone to practice in the world more than a month ago. And even the Lord of Morong had disappeared. Just at this time the door on the news, that is Feng Huingve out. Yin Lingyi's eyes are quite serious. He looks at Feng Huingve and says coldly, "There's no one you're looking for here. Go back to where you should go. If it wasn't for your human meanness, do you think I would like to come to your human places? I tell you, if you don't hand over the woman, then we won't think about a peaceful day." The fire in Feng Huingve's tone was very strong, and the high temperature in the air was rising. It seems that the temperature in the air is constantly changing with her mood. Phoenix, the child has returned you, but you are still making trouble. Is this a declaration of war on us? Yin Lingyi's face suddenly cooled. Feng Huingve squinted dangerously, and her eyes were full of fire. You human beings have always been treacherous and despicable. To put it bluntly, you gave the child back to me, but you human beings dare to contract my child. How can our descendants of the noble blood of the Phoenix family become your contract animals? I tell you, if you know your face, give me the person immediately. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude to you. Contract? Yin Lingyi, who had a cold face, was stunned for a moment. On the other hand, Zhou Feiyu and Morong Yin all have one sign. Is the woman in front of us the Phoenix, the beast that caused the war between man and beast on the border battlefield? However, the contract in her mouth. Is it that the human summoner has contracted his child? How is that possible? Summoners in human beings have disappeared for hundreds of years. For hundreds of years, they have never heard of the appearance of summoners. You mean there's a human contract for your child? Yin Lingyi looks at Feng Huingve in a low voice. Thinking of that, Feng Huingve's eyes became angry. If it's not like that, you think you're full and come here to play, don't you? Who's the one who contracted you? Yin Lingyi is also excited at the bottom of his heart. You know, there have been no summoners for hundreds of years. Now summoners have appeared in the Zhou dynasty. What does that mean? If the Zhou dynasty is drawn together, won't it be more prosperous and consolidated? However, the problem of Yin Lingyi is obviously unnecessary. It is not unnecessary to ask who it is. Compared with Yin Lingyi's mood, Zhou Feiyu has never opened his mouth. After hearing this, however, some of his eyes are bright, and the deep streamer flashes through his eyes. Summoner? Is that little woman a summoner? He knew better than anyone what that meant. To her, he is more powerful. Morong Yin, however, is both happy and worried in his heart. It's a blessing for Morong family to have a dry daughter as a summoner. However, looking at the current situation, there are many people who want to trouble her. That girl, though talented, can make enemies everywhere, is always too dangerous, especially before she is strong. A careless may be doomed. Morong Yin frowned and stepped forward. This girl, there is really no one you want in our house. If you don't believe me, you may as well search the house. I hope that after the girl searches, she can leave and don't disturb our life. In fact, Feng Huang had already sneaked into Murong's house for a long time, but she didn't find anything. This time, she came to the important person. Looking for more than half a month, Blackface did not find, but heard, this Murong house has a purple-eye pupil woman. In this world, there are very few people with purple eyes. Feng Huang also believes that it must be the black-faced girl. I don't care. People must have let you hide. If you don't hand them over, this seat will make your whole city uneasy in the future. In the past few days, Feng Huang's patience has been worn away. With a flick of the hand, the flames suddenly rose outside, and the scorching heat suddenly spread all around. Looking at the Feng Huang's unreasonable making trouble, Murong Yun's eyebrows locked up. However, before he spoke, Zhou Feiyu spoke respectfully and coldly. My king is the 7 princes of the Zhou dynasty, the royal family of the human world. Phoenix Beast, you should be very clear that the human world has the rules of the human world. And you also have the rules of the divine beast. As the saying goes, well, water does not violate the river. If you really want to disturb our human world, our blood has the ability of communication, so that the divine beast level can know your behavior in the human world. And you can bear the consequences of the time. Are you threatening me? The Phoenix girl's eyes sank with extreme cold. The temperature in the air soars in an instant, which makes people sweat. The corner of Zhou Feiyu's mouth rose, and his cold and handsome face was the incomparable dignity. Here, it's the human world. In a word, it's hard to say, but it also shows his meaning directly. The human world is dominated by human beings. Even if you are a god beast, you have to give up 3 points. The hot temper of Feng Huangnu almost burst out with anger. But as Zhou Feiyu just said, the human world and the world of Warcraft have their own rules. No one can intrude on all walks of life without any reason. Otherwise, the consequences are very serious. Moreover, as a god beast, you should be very clear that the human summoner is endowed with the ability of contract Warcraft. If it wants to take the reason that the summoner has contracted her child, it is the one who is wrong. You. Feng Huang was extremely angry, staring at Zhou Feiyu and others, clenching her fist and making a clatter. Don't feel angry. What I said is reasonable. Besides, don't intrude into people's houses, disturb people's lives and destroy people's things. Otherwise, I will do justice. In the eyes of the Phoenix, these human beings in front of them are simply vulnerable. With one paw, they can be sent directly to the bridge. However, if she does that, I'm afraid the consequences will be good, very good. I've written down today's events. I'll wait for you. You'd better not let me seize the opportunity, or you'll have to pay a heavy price. Angry voice down, Feng Huang knew a brush hand. Turn around. A red light suddenly shot into the air, in the semi-cavitation into the prototype. Huh. Shriek, from the empty open, like that endless anger. In a moment, the red figure disappeared in mid-air. It is said that although Phoenix is a noble animal, it is the smallest and the most vengeful of all the animals. After returning to Ningyuan and sending Nalongson, Yunwu returns to Haosong Cottage. The setting sun has already begun to set in the west. It's going to be dark, but the fat Hongling hasn't come back yet. Yunwu went down from the cliff and planned to look for it in the forest. By the way, he went to the original forest valley to have a look. It was the first time I met the dragon. Similarly, there are many herbs she needs. During the day, the powder she made is almost scattered. This time, I'll go and get some. Goo goo. At night, the dense and simple forest, from time to time sounded like an eagle-like partridge cooing sound. Occasionally, there are some Warcraft activities. However, the cloud dance at this time is no longer the mess of the first time. Night let all around into the dark, but in the eyes of Cloud Dance, just like the day, does not affect her vision. This night, she also very leisurely walk away. However, one thing is strange. Since Yunwu woke up this morning, she felt that her body was much more sensitive than before. Feeling, the body seems to be a bit of reborn comfort. Originally thought, is Dragon Qing evil in her faint? Let her body resurrected. But she found that her body was still dead, and the branch in her abdomen not only took root in her body more and more, but also spread around her elixir field. What's going on? Yunwu has checked from the dragon scroll, but there is still no record of the strange willow branch. I really don't understand. In the valley, the sparkling lake. At this time, there is a slight sound of water in the lake. A figure is soaking in the lake. In the moonlight, light scattered on the figure. A head of silver enchanting draped in the back, vaguely visible, the silver under the wheat color sexy back, extremely eye-catching. Yunwu is hiding in a big tree in the dark. When he sees the figure of the man in the lake, he doesn't know whether to go or stay. It's the evil man of Long Qingxie again. Why is he here so late? Little things, come here. If you want to see them, come out. Don't sneak. A man's voice is filled with a smile. In the twinkling of an eye, I saw the man in the lake, turned around and showed his beautiful figure in front of the cloud dance. The cloud dance is the eye ground to brush once put on the streamer, but also come out naturally from the dark. Why are you here? Cloud Dance asked while walking toward the direction of the lake. That spacious grass herbs. Eyes intentionally or unintentionally avoid his smooth upper body. With a smile, the dragon got up from the lake and said, "This is my exclusive place. I'm not surprised to be here. You, a little thing, come to watch me take a bath most of the night. Why? Want to be my husband? Go to the lake, take a side of the white dress." Dragon Qing evil toward the cloud dance walked in the past. Yunwu glanced at him from the corner of his eye. At this time, he seemed to notice that there were many reddish scars on his body. Although the wound had healed, the invisible smell of blood was still vaguely left. Are you hurt? If you look at the scars on his body, you don't have to ask. Although he has the ability to heal, the wounds heal countless times faster than ordinary people, judging from the red scars on his body now. It should be the wounds he suffered not long ago. A little injury is not in the way. You haven't said what you want to do when you come here in the middle of the night? By the time he said this, he had come up behind her. Cloud Dance just turned around and looked at the man who just put his clothes on his body. What can I do if I come here? Naturally, I come here to collect some medicine and reserve it. Dragon Qing evil smell speech. The corner of the mouth outlines up. Do you know the herbal medicine here is all mine? This man is quite cheeky. She has been here several times before for dispensing medicine. Although there are many herbs here, it is obvious that they are not artificially planted. But anyway, you are also mine. If you want to use it, you can pick it yourself. After finishing, you can come to me in the cave. As soon as Cloud Dance opened its mouth, it was interrupted by the voice of evil magic magnetism. By the way, if you want to revive your body, don't run away like last time. I'll wait for you in the cave. After that, Long Qingxie smiles and looks at the clouds. Then he turns around and leaves her a figure of evil temptation, and walks slowly towards the cave on the other side of the lake. Inexplicably, the man just that look, there is a sense of evil, about to do bad things. Even Cloud Dance can't help shivering. The man, what does he want? However, after collecting the medicinal materials, Yunwu went to the hidden cave. No matter what the man wants to play, he even says that he can revive her body. There should be no fake. Just stepped into that dark cave. Brush. The feeling of something coming, Cloud Dance almost subconsciously. The silver needle in the hand flashed out. The body moved. The action was extremely rapid. Counterattack away. You little thing, it's me. Your reaction is to murder your husband? The sound of dragon's evil spirit is heard. Immediately, Yunwu felt that he was swept into his arms by a figure behind him. Close to the clear skin, warm touch, let Cloud frown a wrinkle. You have no clothes? Long Qingxie said with a smile. For a while neither of them need to wear. In the dark, Yunwu felt that his big hand stretching to her waist was untying her belt and trying to take off her clothes. Cloud Dance stretched out her hand and grasped the man's big hand at the waist. A trace of heat hit her cheek. What are you doing? What else can I do if you hold my hand? But don't move around. Naked men are more impulsive than usual. The voice of evil spirit rang out gently from her ear. Yunwu's body was slightly stiff, and then his face was flushed and embarrassed. Long Qingxie, stop making trouble and let me go. Cloud Dance stretched out her hand to pull away the big hand holding her waist, but the man didn't move at all. Instead, she tightened her strength. Let go of you. How can I help you? Don't you want to revive the body? Said the dragon. At the same time, his slender fingers had gone up to her skirt. Yunwoo took a deep breath and reached for his hand. Is that what you call the resurrection method? If I say yes. Dragon Qingxia hugs her tightly, and the hot breath gently brushes her ear, which is extremely provocative. Smell the Cloud Dance of speech, but eyebrow wrinkly. She is a modern person, and her mind is not old-fashioned. However, if she has a relationship with him just to revive her body, she always feels uncomfortable. However, if she doesn't come back to life again, it's not impossible to let Bai Lao wake up again from the seal, not to mention how she improves her cultivation. Let alone, Bai Lao said that it was against the natural law of the world that she could live when her body died. If she did not revive her body, the consequences would be unimaginable. What are you thinking? No. Long Qingxia asked in her ear. Yunwoo recovered from his meditation, frowned and said coldly, let go, I'll do it myself. In the dark, Dragon Qingxia's deep eyes flashed, and then let her go. Yunwoo didn't look back, turned his back to him, stretched out his hand and began to untie his clothes one. Two. When all the clothes were taken off, Yunwoo vaguely heard that some man's breathing behind him was a little heavy, following the hot line of sight. She is not an ignorant girl. She thought she should be calm, but somehow, she felt a little nervous and her heart beat faster and faster. Unknowingly, his hands clenched like tension. Now. Come here, go into the pool. The husky voice of the man came from behind her. Cloud Dance smell speech along, at the beginning didn't react to come over, until seemed to hear what sound of water. Turning his head, he saw that the man behind him had already sat in the pool of red blood. And his vision is still so hot staring at her, that slightly raised corners of the mouth, as if very satisfied with what he saw. This situation is Yunwoo's face turned red, and there was a trace of shame and anger under his eyes. What does this man mean? Are you teasing her? However, immediately, Cloud Dance action is not slow, sat in the high temperature of the blood pool, with his back to him. What else to do next, directly clear. Long Qingxia chuckled. Listen to your tone. It seems that I didn't do anything to you. You are very angry. Yunwoo's face was a bit embarrassed, but he was more upset. He took a deep breath, and then he resisted the impulse to turn around and give him a punch. Dragon Qing Evil also know how to control the propriety, did not play too much. So after putting away the laughter, he said seriously, well, seriously, last night, I wanted to revive your body for you, but I failed at the last moment. Later, I found that there was something in your abdomen, and almost all the medicine that entered your body was absorbed by it. The Cloud Dances to smell speech, eyebrow suddenly wrinkly. What he said was naturally the strange branch. Just Cloud Dance how also didn't expect, originally has been hindering her body resurrection. Unexpectedly is that in her body Dantian took root in the strange branch? There is no record of the dragon scroll. What the hell is that? Before, when I was knocked down in the torrent river in the northern forest, I had a branch running through my abdomen. Later, the branch was very strange. When I touched it, it shrank into my stomach. When I woke up, it had all entered my body, and I couldn't take it out. Later, I searched all the historical records, but I didn't find anything. This man, even the method of body resurrection can be found out. Perhaps he can find out what is the branch in her body in the end. Although I can't feel any discomfort in my body, I always feel that it is an invisible threat. It makes her feel insecure. Cloud Dance that words immediately let the Long Qing Evil frown. Although he felt something inside her, he never thought that it happened in the northern forest rapids. Branches? What do you mean by that branch? It seems that it's just a very common branch, but it should be highly toxic. The blood I vomited at that time was dark black. By the way, not long ago, I fell into a bottomless hole. At that time, a lot of wickers that can absorb the stone wall grew in my back waist skin. Later, after the bottomless cave, the wicker on the waist disappeared, and there was nothing uncomfortable about the body. Yunwoo couldn't understand it and didn't think much about it. After hearing this, The dragon frowned and pondered for a few seconds. I'll find out. Don't think about anything else now. This pool of water is fresh animal blood, which has the magical effect of decay and growth. Your body hasn't come back to life yet, so you can't feel any rotten pain in the blood now. But wait a minute, when your body begins to transform and come back to life, you may feel pain, and you can hold it back. With that, Long Qingxia's 2 big hands had been pasted on her bright red back, and a purple streamer suddenly covered them. The blood in the pool is red, and it begins to bubble gradually, and the temperature rises gradually, giving people the feeling of being in the magma. Since Yunwu ate the fruits of 7 elements in the cave in the northern forest, and suffered for 7 days and nights, it seems that she has a lot of pain, which is just a child for her. Blood pool bubble body. Gradually some numb feeling rise slowly began to numb pain, tingling labor pain, drilling pain, but the pain was within the range that Yunwu could bear, but strangely enough her consciousness gradually became blurred. Whoosh! Cloud dance just feel. A suction suddenly a draw, her consciousness a close, suddenly entered a space. It's very spacious. It's a white space that can't see the edge. Spiritual space? Is this her spiritual space? Cloud dance can't help but curiously swept around. But soon, I felt something was wrong, because the surrounding space was too empty, and above the sky, there was a oppressive dark fog. It feels like some living creature. What is that? Cloud dance eyebrow a see you. Want to open a mouth but discover, her consciousness can't open a voice at all. But the existence of the black fog, inexplicably let the cloud dance have a sense of danger. The heart is also a little surprised. It's you girl who opened the space and woke me up? All of a sudden, a voice like a gloomy voice from outside the sky suddenly sounded in her ear. Cloud dance but subconsciously a retreat, because her heart is very clear mouth. It is the black fog above. You who are you? Cloud dance wants to speak, but the voice is stuck in the throat like can only voice of shout. I didn't expect to hear that black fog. Aha, do you want to know who I am? Then let the king out first, and I will tell you what you want to know. The words were seductive. Cloud dance frowned and glanced at it. I don't really want to know anything. You don't even say it. Forget it. I'll call you Black Fog in the future. When she came to this strange world, she had seen all kinds of things. Now she has entered her own spiritual space, seeing such a dark fog that she can speak. Even though she feels fantastic, she is quite calm. However, as soon as her words fell, a pair of huge scarlet eyes suddenly appeared in the black fog, staring at the clouds. If you don't let me out, you will be the first one to eat. What an evil, gloomy voice. What a grim sense of danger. Cloud dance heart trembles. Unfortunately, what she dislikes most is the threat from others. She straightens her back and looks up at it. Although I don't know who you are imprisoned in my spiritual space, but you are in my territory. You'd better be good, or I will be rude to you. You're welcome to me? Haha, just you girl? Under the sound of gloomy laughter, a force of inexplicable oppression forced him to go to the cloud dance. Yunwu's face changed slightly against the sudden pressure. Very strange power, not painful, but can let her have a sense of terror and oppression. What is the black fog? Next second, her consciousness was directly squeezed out of the spiritual space. Squeezed out. Yes, in her own spiritual space, she was squeezed out by the inexplicable black fog. What's the matter? After being squeezed out of the space, Yunwu has no time to think about it. A strange mental force seems to find the entrance, and suddenly attacks her consciousness crazily. Under the fierce attack of the spirit, the head is like a heavy stone poured into a sharp sword. At the beginning it was heavy, but gradually a stabbing pain came, especially when it came to the back. When the mental madness hit, Yunwu felt that his whole head was almost splitting. Pain let Cloud Dance can't help but dull Hume face pale as paper. Blood pool outside. Long Qingxia, who is injecting Yuanli into her and helping her to be reborn, has a pale face and sweat coming out of her forehead. In this process, it's not just Yunwu who has to endure the pain. He is also suffering from the animal blood corruption caused by the high temperature. The blood of his skin corruption enters into the blood pool and is absorbed by her. Finally, When she changes her bones and muscles, she becomes one with her. In this way, she can't get rid of him in this life. Yunwoo has a headache and almost wants to roar. She feels like her head is being gnawed by tens of thousands of ants, which makes her feel difficult to breathe. It was a great pain beyond the endurance of ordinary people. Even she felt that she was going to be unable to bear the pain, and her consciousness rolled, and she wanted to leave. But Yunwoo found that her conscious body seemed to be imprisoned by something and couldn't move. It seemed that the strange mental force with long thorns pushed her head from all around, such as swarming, severe headache, even if Yunwoo want to endure, also suddenly can't bear it. But the voice is locked in the throat voice, cannot make any sound, can only in that heart-crazy roar, as if to be burst by the crazy influx of mental power. Suddenly, for a while the top heavy and the feet light, and then, the world turns around confused, as if to see, that is crazy toward her head squeeze mental force, finally turned into a white fog, mild down. However, everything has become a little illusory. Yunwoo gasps in pain, feeling that the darkness is constantly trying to devour her consciousness, but Yunwoo bites her teeth and doesn't let herself fall into the darkness. I know very well that if I fall into a deep sleep at this time, the consequences may be very serious. Most of the previous hardships have come through. How can she admit defeat this time? But whenever she wants to refuse, her mind will be more painful. Slowly, she found that when she no longer rejected the mental force that squeezed into her head, her pain seemed to ease a lot. That is, her head was very swollen, very swollen. It's like being pushed into too much mental energy, too much support. But I felt that the mental force that came into her head all around her was still in a steady stream. It was obvious that she was forced to accept it, even refused. She doesn't know these all are her that black fog move of hand and foot. It is to want to give this wench some lessons. Although it is imprisoned, no human dare to be so rude to it. Although full of mental energy is good, but human beings are fragile. Once the mental energy breaks through too much, it will become a dementia fool. It's as if, with more benefits, it will also have adverse effects. Cloud Dance was forced to accept, really the head is really painful, but she felt this is not the way to go on, it would be better to solve it quickly. If you want to force her to accept it, she'll suck it all, no matter what it is. As soon as this idea came down, Yunwoo completely gave up the mental force of resistance, and in an instant, completely opened the whole body cells, which undoubtedly made the invading mental force more rapid, absorbing the dark fog of spiritual space. At that moment, suddenly a surprise. It seems that Hao also did not expect, that girl, not only did not find a way to control and stop the invasion of mental power, on the contrary also full open, don't life-like crazy absorption of that mental power. She's not afraid to blow herself up. Headache wants to crack, the whole body pain straight cold sweat. The huge pain is at a loss. Yunwoo really feels that her teeth are about to break, but she is still trying her best to absorb it. Even if it is forcing her to absorb it, she will absorb it as it wishes, and let it lose everything sitting in the blood pool. The body is constantly emitting black gas, skin decay, molting. The speed surprised the dragon. How could it be so fast? According to his calculation time, a conversion process at least 3 hours. But now her body has entered the stage of molting. According to this speed, another half an hour should be able to complete. I don't know how long it took. Cloud Dance still did not stop. Even if it felt endless pain, it was still absorbing. Finally, I can't help the dark fog of the spiritual space. I yelled angrily. What a madman! He drank angrily, and the black fog quickly absorbed all the mental energy around him, as if he worried that the mental energy it released would be absorbed by her. You crazy girl, I won't care about you this time, but next time, I'll make you feel like you can't take it. Go away. I saw that the voice of the in anger just came in my ear, and the Cloud Dance didn't react, so I felt that I was thrown out by some force. Just now those who die into her consciousness, pain her life and death mental strength. Is that black fog make ghost? Damn it. Cloud Dance is angry, but consciousness is a sting. When she opened her eyes, her consciousness had already entered the sea of consciousness and saw the Chaos Palace. Different from the past, around the Chaos Hall, There was a stream of brilliant light, just like the hazy holiness, but it made it difficult for her to move. What's going on? Did her body come back to life? It's on. Big beard. Cloud dance bottom of the heart shout away. However, I didn't get any response. It seems that these things in front of me are not the same as before. Yunwoo clearly felt that at this time, the Chaos Hall, as if from that remote place, began to really merge in her mind. Gradually into a tower that can be seen clearly, feel the sting under the holy light. But gradually, there is a kind of light. Every time the light turns around in her consciousness, it seems to drive the blood in her body. In the Dantian, there is a wonderful feeling of warm current and endless circulation. The original tingling, even unconsciously eased down, abdominal Dantian, began to warm up. What's going on? Cloud dance is not very clear. Is some surprised to see that blooming light of the Chaos Palace, that sacred light seen. All of a sudden, a heavy moving sound came from the stone gate. Then, a distant and ancient breath came to the cloud dance. Before she could react, a dignified and low voice came. Congratulations, you have become the new master of Chaos Hall. The first floor, Xingmen, has been opened for you. Just as the voice finished, a tall, dignified and bearded door god suddenly appeared at the gate of Chaos Hall. General guarding Chaos Hall. It's the big beard in Yunwoo's mouth, the door god. However, at this time, the door god general was very serious and dignified. I saw that the first floor door suddenly opened, and a strong white fog filled the space of opening the main hall door. Yunwoo didn't know when he was standing at the gate of the hall. When she calmed down, she realized that with a whoosh, she was automatically inhaled into the white fog space, and the whole person was wrapped by the white fog. In front of my eyes is a vast expanse of white, imperceptible strange feeling. Fortunately, when Bai Wu came into contact with her consciousness, it seemed that she was beginning to be fused. Then it was clear that there was a very spacious space inside. Space above the tornado floating, in addition, is empty nothing. Is this Chaos Palace? But it looks like a space container, nothing special. The idea of cloud dance just fell in my heart. The mist floating around suddenly whirled like a tornado. Then she rushed into her eyebrows, forced to pour in, with a very strange text, suddenly into her brain nerve, painful and itchy. But Yunwoo couldn't understand the meaning of the words for a moment. All of a sudden, I felt dizzy and dizzy. My head was about to explode. My head was heavy and my feet were light. I knelt down on one knee. After a while, the pain disappeared. Just after that stabbing pain disappeared, on the contrary, let her mind, which was supported by mental strength, become relaxed and calm down. What's going on? After sweeping around, Yunwoo found that the white fog and mist in the space had disappeared completely, except for the tornado. But at this time, the mind clearly flashed a paragraph of text. The method of life, which was originally created by the ancestor of chaos, can regenerate 100 grasses and withered trees and regenerate them. Later, there is a paragraph that seems to be incomplete. However, after seeing this text, Cloud Dance's eyes still flashed. How to live? Is this the first ability after becoming the master of Chaos Temple? In the blood pool, Yunwoo, who has entered the final stage of bone formation, suddenly has a flash of light on his body, which directly shakes the dragon away. In Long Qingxia's surprised eyes, a purplish-red light suddenly came out from her body, and the dark cave was suddenly very bright. This also makes Long Qingxia clearly see that under her skin, green willows are constantly emerging, and a great vitality is surging from her body, as if she is about to be transformed into a tree. Little thing. The pupil of Dragon Qingxia shrinks, and his heart is a little surprised. Is it the branch in her body? Long Qingxia's eyes were cold, and his body moved. For the first time, he held her tightly with his long arm, and they were close to each other. At that moment, a dark light diffused from his heart. Gradually, the vitality in Yunwoo's body was swallowed by the dark light. The willows on her skin, shrouded in the light, instantly dried up, grew and withered. It's very strange. Long Qingxia's cold sweat was dripping, close to her skin, just like the sharp pain of being cut and torn like a knife. But at this time, in his eyes it was all kinds of surprise and amazement. How could there be the power of life in her body and his dark power just repel each other? What the hell is going on? Is she the one who was predicted to be the biggest obstacle to him? Morning. When Yunwoo woke up from the cave rock, he found that he was still smooth, and he was very calm. However, the eyes swept around the cave, but the dragon's evil figure had disappeared. He's gone again. However, when she woke up, she felt that this time, her body was really revived, because she felt that there was a sense of vitality all over her body. He helped her. Yunwoo doesn't know how long Qingxia feels sit up, when cover on her body slide. See the change of the body. Cloud dance oneself can't help but some surprised. Very white and tender. The congealed snow muscle is like a newborn, especially when the corner of her eye sweeps her shoulder like a phoenix prophecy in the fire. Her heart trembles inexplicably. Isn't that the place where she was burned by the fire of origin? She didn't pay much attention to it all the time. Now she can't help but be surprised. When did it become the brand of phoenix prophecy? Cloud dance sighed low head, murmured to say, can't help but hand to caress that shoulder. Hiss. However, as soon as the cloud dancer touched the shoulder, a sharp pain penetrated into the bone. It felt as if the high temperature was burning her flesh and blood. What's going on? Master, what are you playing with? In the cloud dance pain hiss, in the cave, suddenly sounded a curious concerned sound. See a fat safflower, got up from the ground, moved to Yunwoo's side. Hongling? Hongling, when were you here? Last night. She wanted to find it, but later by the way, her last consciousness seems to stop in the Palace of Chaos. Chaos Palace. Yunwoo didn't wait for Hongling to answer. After she put on her clothes, she sat up, her mind moved, and her consciousness swished into the sea of consciousness. Chaos Hall is really blooming with a holy light. And beside the gate of Chaos Hall is a powerful tall stone statue. Isn't that dignified stone statue the door god's beard before? She remembers that yesterday was still alive. How did it become a stone statue now? Big beard. Can't help but call but didn't get any movement. At the end of the cloud dance, it entered the Hall of Chaos. It was still an empty space, with dragons floating in the sky, very quiet. It seems that yesterday was not a dream. What about the black fog in her spiritual space? Mind move. Consciousness immediately left from Chaos Hall, straight into her spiritual space. I can see that the sky above her spiritual space is really a dark fog of depression. At this time, fierce scarlet eyes suddenly flash out of the black fog, with an endless anger staring at the clouds. Crazy girl, you are also a witch. No wonder you can absorb most of my mental energy. You are so hateful. When I go out, I will be the first to eat you. It's spiritual power? However, what Cloud Dance doesn't understand is that she is a witch. What's special about her? What's more, why is her spiritual space locked up in such a dark fog? What is the definition of sorcery in the eyes of these strange things? Why is there so much anger at the mention of people in the witch clan? The red fire dragon, trapped in the forbidden area, felt the power of Bai Lao's witchcraft when he saw her for the first time, and wanted to destroy heaven and earth. This black fog thing, too, seemed to want to eat her immediately. Witches. Witches. She must find out what's going on, and what's the matter with her mother ignoring the angry black fog. Yunwoo eased from the spiritual space, opened his eyes and looked at the little fat flower. Master, you smell so good. Good smell. Cloud Dance smell speech, can't help but pick eyebrows. Hongling, you are just a flower, not a dog, can smell what flavor? Master, I won't lie to you. Really, your smell is really good, like the feeling of eating well. Hongling petals smell. Tender voice is very serious said. However, its words made the Cloud Dance blush for a while. This guy, you don't want to eat people, are you crazy? Yunwoo reached out and knocked on its petals, but there was no good way. If you are hungry, you can find something to eat by yourself. In the future, you can't eat people without my consent. Hongling is huge and has a large appetite. If you don't tell it, you'll worry about it. One day, it's greedy. It'll be a big trouble if you go straight into the crowd and have a big appetite. I was full last night, not hungry, I mean really master, you really smell good, fragrant, don't believe you smell. Hongling said. And the green branch lifted her hand to her nose. I'm afraid she won't believe it. The cloud danced and sniffed. There's no taste at all, but the skin is a little white and tender. However, not long after Hongling was born, she would not lie. Maybe after her body resurrected, she really had some special smell. Maybe only she could smell it. Well, I believe you, but don't bite me when you are so greedy. Cloud Dance looks at it and warns. Hongling some guilty, petals shrink. After that, Hongling tried to eat every day full point. It really wants to bite her? This day, the head of the Su family led many people to the door early in the morning. Yunqi is practicing in his own courtyard. He doesn't pay much attention to the guard's notice, so he asks Wu Gang, who just came back from outside, to entertain him. But the host soon was called to Ning Yuan. Mr. Su, please calm down. Here is our 9th Miss's residence. However, our 9th Miss is very weak. She is not. Wu Gang's voice came from outside the yard. However, before he had finished his words, he was interrupted by an angry rough shout. Get out of the way, otherwise, don't blame me for being rude to you. Inside. It has been 2 days since the resurrection of the body. In the past 2 days, Yunwu has only stayed in the house except preparing some medicine. After Bai Lao's seal fell asleep, she always tried to untie the seal in the necklace, but she found that no matter what means she used, the seal didn't move at all. There's no way. If you want to know something about the witches, you can only find it from some ancient books. Therefore, in the past 2 days, she has searched the historical records and ancient books of the whole continent, and there is little information about the witches. Later, she got some information about the witches from the Dragon Scroll. Although the information is not comprehensive, it is recorded that the sorcerer is a race that conforms to the destiny and has special ability and mission. That is to say, everyone in the witch clan has their own mission when they are born. And the people in the sorcery family, there are blood divided into dark, light. They have different bloodlines and they have different missions to carry out. But the Holy Emperor, the ruler of the witch clan, can only be born in the blood of light, because only the blood of light can drive and control the spiritual power between heaven and earth. Of course, because the information is not complete, what Cloud Dance knows is only a little bit of clips. However, it is enough to surprise Yunwu. It's just that the so-called mission, the so-called blood of darkness and light, can't be understood by Cloud Dance. Mr. Su, our 9th Miss is resting. You can't rush in. Get out of the way. The door. There was a sound of footwork. Many people came to listen to it. Master, someone is coming. Is nest in one side, the big flower of molar, suddenly erect tusks, very excited like Chaoyun Dance said. It's just a few days old, and it hasn't been able to change its size. Therefore, Cloud Dance doesn't go out these 2 days. In addition to going out for food at night, it doesn't go out for 2 days, just to avoid being found. The cloud dances slowly from the meditation. When hearing the outside sound, the corner of the mouth raises slightly. The people of the Su family are here at last. Cloud Dance slowly sketched a cold charm smile, turned his head toward the big red flower and said, Hongling, go out from the back window and get someone in. Don't kill him. Hurry up. Hongling smells speech. That nature with hit a chicken blood like, fat big figure, whoosh sound immediately from the back window of the house. Bang! The closed door was pushed open by a force. I saw that a middle-aged man was very angry, and his eyes were burning around. Behind him, there were more than a dozen bodyguards and housekeeper Wu. Cloud Dancer, come out for me. Mr. Su, it's okay. Let's sit down and talk about it. Su Jin, dressed in anger, is a hot temper. When she learns that her beloved daughter has been killed in Yunfu, she comes from Mengqing in anger. She wants to get justice for her beloved daughter. Originally, he wanted to seek justice from the old master of the Cloud family. However, Yunqi closed the door and no one was heard. After housekeeper Wu said a few words, Su Jin directly from the original waiting room, with people storming into the Ningyuan. That waste, even if he was humble, dared to lie that it was the dragon rudder, who killed her daughter and made him worry. If it wasn't for housekeeper Wu to remind him, he would have been fooled. When she thought about it, Su Jin became more and more angry. I didn't see anyone in the living room, so I walked towards the inner room. The closed door was kicked open. Who? A weak voice came from the bed, which was separated by the inner curtain. In the hazy, the intruder saw a man lying on the bed, like waking up from sleep, weak and slowly want to sit up from the bed. Standing at the door of the inner room, Su Jin heard the sound, and her angry eyes sank. Go drag people out of bed for me. Su Jin's bodyguard immediately stepped into the inner room and walked quickly towards the big bed of the curtain. Whoosh! A cold light passed in front of people's eyes. In a twinkling of an eye, the scene of flesh and blood being penetrated by a knife was staged in front of people's eyes. I saw that the bodyguard who just wanted to reach out and lift the curtain had no life, and his body fell straight back. This scene happened too fast. Even Su Jin hasn't reacted. Are you the master of the Su family? A low voice of neither male nor female suddenly sounded in the room. Then, I saw a short man in black jumping down from the beam of the house. The whole body is wrapped, except that pair of cold black eyes. What appearance also can't see, however, from his body, but feel a kind of from countless corpses over of absolutely cold murderous gas. You are. Su Jin felt the inexplicable danger, looked tense, staring at the man who suddenly appeared in black. Wu Gang's eyes narrowed as soon as he saw the figure. Popular? Is he still in Yunfu? Before, the queen told her that she was bound to find Fengxing to see her. The people of Tianlong Rudder almost searched all over Yunfu, but they didn't find him. They thought he had left. For this reason, most of them were punished. Unexpectedly, he is still in Yunfu. Lao Tzu left that boy's life and asked him to take Su Jingming's body back. Didn't he tell you who I am? The voice sank. Su Jin alung. Immediately, the fundus of an angry set off. You are the dragon rudder that day? You killed my daughter? I'm entrusted to be loyal to others. If it wasn't for Su Jing's dream of taking the life of that 9 girl, why would I want her life? The words of the man in black were clearly heard by all the people present. It turns out that Su Jingming wanted to kill Yunwu? Su Jin frowned. Su Jingming came to Yunfu just for the enrollment of Shenwang Samurai College in the Imperial City 2 months later. How could he come here for no reason to take the life of this waste? I don't believe it. Now that people are dead. Whatever you say, why should I believe you? Su Jin met the eyes of the man in black and said angrily. Although he can't afford the Tianlong Rudder, some time ago, it happened that Tianlong Rudder secretly sent someone to woo him. I hope he, the Su family on the rich side, can secretly support Tianlong Rudder financially. Tianlong Rudder to find, Su Jin naturally interested in cooperation. But unexpectedly, a few days later, I heard his daughter was killed by the man in the dragon rudder. He didn't dare to look for trouble, so naturally he came to Yunfu to find the legendary waste. Don't you believe it? The eyes of the man in black were very cold. However, in the next second, a strange dark shadow flashed by and suddenly appeared. Su Jin's face changed with fright. For the first time, she quickly retreated. Her strength in the later stage of the 8th level suddenly raised her defense force. Poof! Blood splashing out. Ah! There was a scream at the same time. I saw that the bodyguard who just stood beside Su Jin didn't have time to dodge, and cut off his arm. In a flash, Su Jin touched the wound on her chest, which was cut by the sword Qi. Her face was very ugly. What a strong sword. If he didn't flash fast and have 8 levels of defense power to protect his body, the sword just cut him down. Maybe it would split him in half. Is this man of Tianlong Rudder trying to kill him? On one side, Wu Gang's face changed slightly, but at this time, it was not convenient for him to say anything. How about the master of the Su family? Before the deep cold voice completely sank down. Need not, I really let you have a chance to ask your daughter to the palace of hell? Here, Su Jin clench a fist. The fundus of the eye is that exasperate, can still dare to have any action in. Listen to him, he didn't really hit the sword just now. So when he does, he's still alive? This time he wants to settle accounts, not to die. To endure the anger in his heart. Well, you said that. It's only my daughter's fault that she provoked people who didn't dare to. I'll keep this in mind. As soon as the cold words fall, Sujin turns around and leads people away. The man in black didn't stop him. Wu Gang looked at the popularity of black clothes, and a trace of anger flashed through his eyes. He said coldly in a low voice, "Sir, everything should be on the line. Your behavior has already made the master unhappy." Then he turned and left. Master? Cloud black cloth under the corner of the mouth, slowly outlines a cold arc. She is waiting. Is her unhappy? Night. Tonight, the moon is bright and the sky is full of stars, but it's killing. One after another, the shadows were all lurking around the Ningyuan, encircling the whole Ningyuan. Come on, there are a lot of people. Ningyuan outside a corner, Cloud Dance pick eyebrow of looking at, that night, in the number of assassins to surround. Those assassins can hide the news, but they can't hide the murderous spirit from their bones. 1-2-28, no 29. Cloud Dance micro frowned. There is almost even she did not feel the existence. This shows that the person is definitely not simple. It seems that this popular face is really not small. A hand, is 29 assassins to come. Master, can I have dinner? Hungry, a low voice, in the cloud around. See only, the bud of red rhombic flower merges. The state that a bud is ready to open. Shrink in a corner, fear to be discovered. And on its body, there is a little red snake. Since the red snake came to Yunwu, it has been with Hongling, almost inseparable. Go ahead, remember, as I taught you, keep quiet. Cloud Dance slowly raised the corner of the mouth. The cold color of the eyes flashed, low voice. Hearing that the meal was ready, Hongling was excited, and the flowers were in bud. One of them opened, and his mouth was full of fangs. Master, don't worry, I and the red snake will eat them all secretly. However, as soon as he finished speaking, he swished and rushed into the dark place. That is to say, he carefully and anxiously headed for the potential assassins. Whiz! It's like the wind. Under the dark night, the assassin, who was hidden in the tree, suddenly felt that he was bitten by something on his neck and turned his head. When he saw that there was a huge flower petal full of fangs behind him, his eyes suddenly filled with panic. I want to open my mouth and scream, but I find that I'm paralyzed and can't even open my mouth. What's going on? It was only when a little red snake slipped down his neck from the corner of his eye that the assassin realized that he had just had a pain in his neck and was bitten by the little red snake. These things, what lurks behind him? He's a 6th level late strength, but he didn't notice? Click. Tusk big mouth in that assassin startle stare big eyes, one mouthful to swallow him down. On the other side, Cloud Dance in such a dark night, light as floating water, hiding all the breath lurking away. When you look at the location of the assassins, you can see that these assassins are better than last time. And from the long sword in their hands, there was a dark light, which must have been smeared with poison. Also this time their target is not the rubbish, but the popularity of the former first killer of Tianlongdi. How can we not make more preparations? However, today's Cloud Dance is no longer the original Cloud Dance. The corner of the mouth outlines a sneer, and the Cloud Dance in black has lurked behind an assassin. Without letting the assassin find out, he buttoned his nose and mouth, and without giving the assassin a chance to hum, the dagger in his hand had already crossed his throat. Before the bloody smell spread, let go of the assassin, and the cloud dancing figure, like a ghost, lurks towards the next target. Brush. Silver flash. Ghost figure turned away, leaving in addition to a corpse, only the faint smell of blood. And Hongling on both sides of the separation, latent kill, cloud silver light fall, are a dagger broken throat. The assassin who surrounded Ningyuan, before waiting for the action order, in the process of dormancy, unconsciously turned into a corpse. However, every assassin whose body pierced his throat had a look of horror and confusion in his eyes. Maybe I don't know who killed them until I die. All of a sudden, in the night, the wind rose slightly, and the strong smell of blood filled the air. Yunwu, who was going to move on to the next target, frowned and lurked in silence. Suddenly, he rushed to the next target at a very fast speed. The daggers fall together. Before the assassin could smell the blood and react, he was solved immediately. However, the smell of blood still attracted the attention of other assassins. Something's wrong. With a sound, the remaining 9 assassins suddenly soared into the air and came to Yunwoo from the dark. When they saw the corpse on the ground, the 9 people's faces sank. In an instant, 9 people surrounded the cloud dance. Popular? We are all in the dragon's rudder. How can you be so cruel to your classmates? Hearing this, Yunwoo got up slowly. The dagger in his hand was still dripping blood, and the corner of his mouth was slightly raised. You want my life, why can't I do it? Even if they all come to the door, I'll leave my life behind. Both men and women have a low voice, extremely cold. The 9 assassins stepped back with their swords in their hands. You know it's popular, but the first killer of the previous term of Tianlong Rudder. He's been in seclusion for decades, and no one knows how strong he is now. Otherwise, the helmsman would not send more than 20 senior assassins. However, there are only a few of them now. That is to say, other people have already suffered an accident. If they add up to 9, they can hardly be his opponents. Fengxing, you are the old master of Tianlong Rudder. If you are willing to go back to see the master with us, everything will be easy to discuss. Yes, as long as you come back with us, the master will not embarrass you in the past. These assassins, are they stupid? Or ignorance? One by one, the sword was smeared with poison and surrounded by lurking people. It was obvious that they wanted to take her life. What's more, since they have come, there is no reason for them to withdraw. Just haven't waited for her hand, a shadow, take off from the void. Big assassin. Feel the breath from the void, cloud dance, the undercurrent of the eye flash. It turns out that the breath she hardly noticed just now is the strength of a big assassin. Also, the status of popular is that he is the first assassin of his predecessor. If he only sends some assassins of the 6th rank, even if there are many assassins, it is not enough to see. The assassin fell to the ground, and his dark eyes flashed over Yunwoo's body with a suspicion. You're popular? Cloud Dance converged his breath, cold glanced at him, did not answer. The assassin's eyes flashed cold, but as if he thought of something, he gradually slowed down and said respectfully, although I left Tianlong Rudder, I used to be one of its members. Now I am the 23rd member of Tianlong Rudder. The master ordered us to come here tonight, and ask you to come back to see her anyway. Please don't embarrass us. 23? Cloud Dance smells speech. Meifeng micro-picked, before, sent to Luoyang to kill her, claiming to be 1819. Is that their ranking in Tianlong Rudder? It seems that the number of masters in Tianlong Rudder can't be underestimated. Originally, Yunwoo didn't intend to let them go back, but after hearing this, Yunwoo changed her mind. She wants to see me so much, so I'll see her. Late at night, in a hidden palace. Master, 23 has brought people. The bright candlelight makes the whole palace space bright. The snow willow in gorgeous clothes, half lying on the soft couch of the master, half drooping eyes, has a trace of enchanting. Under the notification of a man in black, he said coldly, let him in. Yes, after a while. C-23, leading a thin black figure, came in from outside the hall. Master, fashion has come with it. When he came in, he knelt down respectfully towards Xuelio. Snow Willow's eyes, cold cloud danced to the past. After Yunwoo stepped into the palace, he looked at the woman sitting on the soft couch. This is the queen of today. Although I heard that the queen had seen it many times when she was ill, for Yunwoo, this was her first meeting after she came to a strange world. She looks very beautiful and has a good temperament. But I don't know why, when I first saw her, Yunwoo thought she was familiar with her. Mingming met for the first time, but Yunwoo had this strange feeling. It seems that she has something to do with her, but she could not tell what the relationship was. You say you are popular? When Xuelio saw the cloud dancing, her eyes suddenly narrowed. Obviously, as a master, she can see at first glance that Yunwoo is a fake, popular identity. Cloud Dance is not urgent. Meet her that narrow up dangerous eyes, neither male nor female voice light smile way. I can never say myself I am popular. Snow Willow sat up from the soft couch, cold in her beautiful eyes. Why do you block the Tianlong Rudder again and again? I thought I made it very clear that I would be in Yunfu. I was also entrusted by others. Queen, who do you think I would be? In the voice of a man and a woman he fell down. That pair of black eyes, quietly staring at the snow willow. Entrusted by others? Is he entrusted to protect Yunwu? Who? Is it Snow Willow's eyes narrowed, black eyes of the eyes, suddenly a purple flash in angry way. Who is it? Make it clear otherwise, this palace will let you live or die today. Cloud Dance has been looking at her eyes change. When see that purple flash, eyes slightly squint. Really can change purple pupil. Cloud Dance quickly put away the strange state, kept the mysterious voice sneered. I want to go, no one in the world can stop me. As for who I am, there is no need to tell the queen, I believe the queen has guessed a lot. However, I would like to advise the queen, the so-called. This is the same route, why too anxious, you want to persecute her daughter again and again, do not feel conscience uneasy. At the moment when her purple pupil flashed from her body, Yunwu finally understood why she felt familiar with her. It's the breath. The smell of the same kind. The queen, who is also a member of the witch family, also has purple pupil. She believes that her blood is not simple. According to what she has done to her, I can roughly guess what relationship she has with her lost mother. However, as soon as Xiuelio heard her words, it was as if she had been stabbed to her painful feet by something. On her beautiful face, she suddenly became ferocious. Conscience? Haha, I didn't expect that you are just like that woman. You are full of benevolence, righteousness and morality. However, it's a pity that people like that don't live long. Yes. Why did you imprison her in those years? Cloud Dance's sharp eyes, see into her black eyes. In this sentence she's just detecting. She wants to know if what Yunlinger said is true. Captivity? Xiuelio frowned, and a little doubt flashed through her eyes. But then dangerously, she squinted and turned to the clouds. Are you the man who took her away? The queen didn't seem to know that Wu Gang had imprisoned her mother. It seems that the housekeeper Wu would like to know how complicated it is. Cloud Dance flashed a deep and unpredictable, light smile. Is not, I don't seem to need to answer you. However, before you leave, I'm warning you not to play tricks under my nose, otherwise, my means are enough to make you feel helpless. Having said that, Cloud Dance is like a man in the world, a proud hand, turns around and wants to leave. A black figure flashed, and suddenly resisted her way. The master didn't speak. No one can go. You think you can keep me? The cloud dances down the footstep, the eye bottom is cold. 23 took out the sword in his hand, and his whole body was murderous. Cloud Dance slants to head, Canthus swept the snow willow on the eye main position. The assassin that you train, really quite loyal, however, it is a bit stupid. As soon as the words of Cloud Dance came down, a red shadow came from the window and subconsciously turned to be on guard. But at that moment, a silver light flashed away at the same time. The speed is extremely fast, like lightning. When the reaction comes, a dagger has penetrated the neck. 23 opened her eyes wide, looking at the popularity of the little red snake that gently stroked her wrist, and wanted to shout angrily. Can throat grunt? What sound can't come out? Fundus anger infinite amplification. Dead staring at the clouds slowly fell back. This first assassin used the heresy meanly? He's a big assassin. He doesn't even have a chance to react, so he's stabbed to death? This is absolutely humiliating and unwilling. Unfortunately, in the eyes of Yunwu, her mien is very above board. A good killer, at any time, defense vigilance is the most basic. Those who dare to kill me in front of me, I want you to never come back. Snow Willow suddenly full of ferocious, cold anger, even purple pupil are flashing. A black flame in her palm jump up. Want to kill her? Black flame? See here, Cloud Dance, the eye ground a touch of streamer flash and pass. Empress, you have to take care of yourself. Maybe the next time I come here, this 23 will be your end. Under the fire of Snow Willow, Yunwu's gloomy voice finished. Her figure disappeared in front of Xiuelio. Without any fluctuation, it's like disappearing out of thin air. Zizi. The flames fell to the ground, making a sound of corrosion and burning. Can you imagine that if the flame falls on people, it will be directly corroded and burned to ashes? Looking at the popular figure, unexpectedly disappeared out of thin air. Xiuelyo pupil shrink, purple pupil cold abnormal squint up. Even she can't be so fast that she can disappear out of thin air. Who is that man? Master, that woman's smell is fragrant and delicious. After that, I'm hungry. Can I go and eat her? At night, one person and one flower are on their way back to Yunfu. When Hongling followed the assassins into the palace, she secretly followed behind, so she was hiding all the time. However, it seems to be very interested in cannibalism. In particular, the fragrance in its mouth is like drooling. Cloud Dance at this time, still dressed in black, turned to look at it, joked. If you really want to eat, you have the ability, you go to eat her, I have no problem. Just now, when she hid her breath and dodged into the space, she felt that the queen's strength was so deep and terrible that she couldn't even feel what height she had reached. It was the first time that she met someone who felt that way when she came to this strange world. Maybe it's the ability of the witch people. She's just resurrected now, although she also has the power of witchcraft. However, she found that she had no way to start. She didn't know how to use it, so she was just groping. If you really want to take a shortcut, I'm afraid you can only find a way to see if there is any way to unseal Bai Lao from the holy things. Really? Well, I'll go back and eat her now. Hear Cloud Dance so straightforward promise. Redling in excitement want to turn round to return to Imperial Palace. See this Cloud Dance. Immediately really feel some laughing and crying. This guy who ate a lot of assassins tonight, still has the appetite to eat? You want to talk to the queen? I'm not afraid to be burnt into withered flowers by the black fire. However, without waiting for Yunwu to stop her, Hongling really grinds her teeth excitedly, and then turns around quickly and goes back to the palace. The little red snake wrapped around Yunwu's wrist also came forward with a whoosh. Hello Hongling. The Cloud dances to shout, originally want to catch up with, but the day is already fast bright. She now this dress if be found will cause unnecessary disturbance. Although Hongling is greedy, she has a good sense of crisis. Little red snake follows her. Although the queen is powerful, she seems to have been hiding her strength. It seems that she doesn't want to let the palace know. Hongling has gone, but there will be no danger. When it hits the dust, it will come back. After thinking about it, Yunwu didn't go after her. She was ready to go back to the mansion, and first went to find Wu Gang. However, Yunwu didn't know. Just because of her joke, Hongling and Little Red Snake didn't come back for more than half a month. They lived in the Imperial Palace. The more they lost, the braver they were. Their spirit of never giving up was extremely strong. Therefore, in the near future, the whole palace will be in a panic. Of course, that's later. Near dawn, a dark shadow appeared in Wu Gang's room in the backyard. Wu Gang on the bed suddenly got up from the bed, took out his sword from the head of the bed, and narrowed his eyes warily. Popular. Seeing the thin figure in black, Wu Gang frowned. He can't be unaware of tonight's action. Just did not expect this popularity, unexpectedly still have no damage of appear in his room. Steward Wu was surprised. Did you see me? Don't worry. I've already met the queen. Cloud Dance not male not female voice says. Seemed to be very leisurely sat on the chair of one side. When Yan Wu Gang, after seeing the queen, can he come back so safely? That is to say, he has already submitted to the queen? As soon as this thought flashed by, Wu Gang said with a faint smile. It seems that the queen still attaches great importance to your ability. After that, please do more. However, before he had finished speaking, he was interrupted directly. Needless to say, I'm not anyone's slave. As long as you don't hurt 9 girls, I'm not interested in arguing with you. However, when I went to see the queen this time, I found something about housekeeper Wu. At this point, the Cloud Dance word stopped, the face under the cover of black cloth raised, black eyes deep look at Wu Gang. In that line of sight, Wu Gang could not help frowning. What's the matter? The queen doesn't seem to know that you and Lu Yueqing had imprisoned 9 girls and her mother. I mentioned it by accident. Her face changed, and she said a word, which made me very curious. Hearing the speech, Wu Gang's face sank instantly. What's that? Yunwoo's voice was very casual. She said, "You have so many masters. Even she dares to hide it." Wu Gang stares at the cloud dance. Dangerously narrowed his eyes. The bottom of his eyes is that gloomy. "Who are you? How do you know what happened in those days?" Cloud dances to pick eyebrow. Haha, a smile way. "I am what identity? Even you're that Empress Lord Sun all have no qualification to inquire. Do you think, with you also can lattice? But if it's your boss who wants to know who I am, I'm interested." "Well, who do you think you are? My master is so easy to see." Wu Gang gave a cold hum. Cloud danced lightly a smile, from the chair behind. Brush 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 sleeve. "Is it? Even so, forget it, but bring him a word for me. That is to say, what he always wants is with me. If you want it, come to me personally." Having said that, black clothes flash, popular figure, immediately disappeared in place. Wu Gang wanted to chase, but just stepped out of the door. He couldn't feel any breath. There was no place to chase. Damn it. Back to Ningyuan. Some of the assassins' bodies outside the Ningyuan were not eaten by Hongling, and no one had to deal with them. They would be found tomorrow, which would cause some commotion. However, what Cloud Dance likes most now is the chaos. The more chaotic, the more clearly you can see the things and people hidden behind. The morning sun gradually rose, the smell of blood spread in the air, and the sound of insects in the grass gradually disappeared. Ningyuan in a quiet silence. Cloud Dance on the bed, the original beautiful face, has been replaced by the pale and sick face that Cloud Dance should have, lying quietly on the bed, as if in deep sleep. However, her mind entered the Chaos Palace. The abundant aura inside, after she entered, washed her little by little, as if, also warmed her newly resurrected body little by little. But it seems to make her soul more integrated with her body. It's a wonderful feeling. But Chaos Palace before it was just empty space at this time, but inexplicably more than a small lawn. And on the lawn, a very familiar little tree is growing there. Why do you look so familiar? Cloud slowly walked in the past, did not step on the lawn, but squatted outside the lawn, frowning at the small tree. In my mind, it's the rapid rotation. Suddenly, Yunwoo's eyes widened slightly, and his eyes flashed a touch of surprise. Isn't that the little tree that she dug up from the Tin Snake Mountain cave in the northern Warcraft forest with 7 fruits of different colors? How can you be in this chaotic palace? She remembered that she put the little tree into the space bracelet. Why are you here? However, it seems that the original mini tree has grown up here? Dragon Tornado, do you know what's going on? Yunwoo looked up and saw the tornado floating in the air. Of course, she also casually asked, did not expect it would answer. But as soon as her words came down, a passage of words crossed her mind. The first floor of Chaos Hall, Xingmen. In order to gather the aura between heaven and earth, it is necessary to collect the objects to expand the space of the main hall, so that the hall owner can absorb the aura and get rid of it. That text, after flashing in my mind, disappeared without a trace. Can Cloud Dance, but has been income in the bottom of my heart. Can't help, the bottom of my heart flashed a touch of surprise. Respect the body? Is that to say, as long as we collect spirit-gathering objects and expand the space, we can reach the level of Wuzuan? Is that too bad? You know, behind the great warrior, there is the martial saint, and then there is Wuzuan. In this Zhou dynasty, there are only a few warriors, not to mention Wuzuan. However, just as Yunwoo was still digesting the words, another piece of words flashed out of her mind. Kaiwangxian tree. It is a 7-element Yuanxian tree bred by gathering the aura of heaven and earth. It is the only one in the world, and its fruit takes 9,000 years to blossom and 9,000 years to bear. Kaiwangxian tree? Is this the only one in the world? Cloud Dance suddenly stared big eyes straight at the small trees in the lawn. No, this little mulberry-like tree is actually a Qiyuan fairy tree. The 7 fruits she had eaten were, however, at the beginning, even Bai Lao didn't know what it was. It must be a good thing, but unexpectedly, it was a fairy tree. Is luck her mother? This can also let her get unintentionally. However, after a while, looking at the only green plant in the space, Yunwoo suddenly didn't know whether to cry or laugh. because she suddenly felt that all the spirit-gathering objects in this chaos hall must be at the same level as the seven-source immortal tree. How many things in this world can be similar to the level of the seven-source immortal tree? Even if there is, I'm afraid it's rare. It's very difficult to expand the hall space and collect aura. Half a month later, Cloud Dance is still in the room to rest, rather outside the courtyard. It seems to send out a lot of movement. Heard someone shouting, dead for most of the past half a month. Yunwoo has been very busy, because there are many people who want her life. As for who sent them, I want to know with my toes. As for the fate of those who came, naturally none of them left alive. Cloud Dance is used to such high voices outside. Because of her famous illness, the dead could not be connected with her. However, after today's shouting, I saw Yunqi coming. You girl, as soon as I got out of the gate, I heard that something had happened outside Ningyuan in the past half a month. Are you okay? Yunwoo got up from the bed with a lazy smile. What can I do for you? But aren't you shutting up, Grandpa? How did you get out of the customs? You girl really scared me to death. As soon as I got out of the gate, I heard the news. It said that more than half a month ago, the Su family brought people to Ningyuan, and there was the first assassin of Tianlongdi. In the past half a month, several assassins' bodies were often found outside Ningyuan. Can I still shut up safely? While Yunqi is saying this, her worried eyes have swept around Yunwoo, as if to make sure she is not hurt. The Cloud Dance naturally feels. The eye ground quietly flashed a touch of warmth. The corner of his mouth raised a smile, and raised his eyes to look at Yunqi. Grandfather doesn't have to worry. There are some things in my heart. However, grandfather has gone through the customs, so I don't have to work so hard. What? What do you want your grandfather to do for you? Yunqi's eyes flashed a touch of wisdom, and the thief looked at the Cloud Dance on the bed. Cloud Dance light smile, come down from the bed. I this period of time lie uncomfortable, want to go out for a while, but don't want to let people know too much. How long are you going out this time? 3 months ago, Yunqi was not surprised. However, it's not the way to pretend to be ill for a long time. What's more, several corpses have just been found in the mansion, which is bound to attract some people's attention. I'm tired of staying in bed. I want to go out in the daytime for a few hours. Yunwoo is a well-known diseased seedling. It won't attract much attention if it can lie on the bed more often. But she can't pretend to be sick and keep herself in bed. So, if you can have a stand-in, it will be much more convenient in the future. How can Yunqi not understand when he hears about it? You're a girl. I don't know if your previous life owes you. Okay, wait. However, the city is not very peaceful recently. No matter what you do, you have to be careful. Cloud Chi does not forget to remind again of Say. Yunwoo was very patient and nodded. However, when Yunqi is ready to turn around and leave, he casually asks, Grandfather, what's the matter in the city? Yunqi turned to look at her, and then said, some time ago, Feng Huang slaughtered human beings at the northern border. It is said that a black-faced woman stole Feng Huang's eggs. Later, the woman injured a deputy general in the army and set fire to the barracks, which made the border city full of rain. 2 days ago, after receiving the news, the emperor ordered the whole country to arrest the black-faced woman with purple eyes. What's more, the queen is also sending someone to secretly search for a woman with purple eyes. Now in the imperial city, many people are surging. When Yunqi said this, her eyes were staring at Yunwoo all the time. With his shrewdness, I'm afraid some of them have guessed about her, but it's just a guess. Smell speech. Cloud Dance is very indifferent, expressionless. Oh, he let out a cry. The Cloud Dances to pick eyebrow to greet Cloud Chi's eyes seem very common. That's it. Seeing her words, Yunqi couldn't laugh or cry. This wench really don't know how she thinks after all. These no matter have relation with her, this period of time really shouldn't make any noise. When you go out, be careful and try to keep a low profile. Yunqi said. Don't worry. The Cloud dances and answers with a faint smile. Then you wait here. With that, Yunqi went out. After a while, a very ordinary-looking maid came in with breakfast. About a quarter of an hour later, that servant girl also withdraws from the room. After closing the door, the maid also walked toward the direction outside the house. In order to try to low-key, after Cloud dancing came out from the gate, it still kept the appearance of the ordinary servant girl. Towards the famous market in the Imperial City. It is said that there is a market for everything in the Imperial City. You can buy everything. Anyway, after she came out, she would look around. Maybe if she was not careful, she would bump into something good, which is what she earned. In fact, there is another reason. It is said that there is an auction branch of Longa in this Imperial City. It is said that there is also a headquarters of Longa. Since that day in the back mountain valley, the dragon has been gone. Maybe it's good to see the so-called Longa headquarters by the way. However, when I came to the famous everything market in the Imperial City, Cloud dance is a bit silly. It's even more mixed than the vegetable market, and it's also a mess of stalls, as well as the flow of people scurrying between stalls. A lively vegetable market. This is the famous everything market? Yunwu thought it was a large-scale, prosperous and orderly place, but now, I suddenly feel that the rumors are not credible. Two-Pit Dad. Just when Yunwu is still in a state of some silly eyes, thinking about whether to enter the everything market, a middle-aged man with a pointed mouth approached her and asked her in a flattering way, "What do you want to buy, miss? The villain can show you the way." Cloud dance slowly lead a god. Light see him one I ask away. So kind. Of course you should give the villain some money for running errands, but compared with the time you save, it's not a big deal, is it? The middle-aged man, with a smile, shows his uneven yellow teeth. A gust of bad breath blows in, which makes Yunwu feel sick. It stinks. This is a middle-aged man. Is it specially to turn people off? Cloud dance frowns, brush hand quite cold way. Need not. This tone enough to make people retreat 3 feet. Miss I. The middle-aged man came forward specially. Yunwu's face changed a little. It's really unbearable bad breath. I said no, go away. The middle-aged man's face froze, and then his face was a little ugly. You dare to be so crazy here when you suffer losses. If you can't get off the stage, drop a cruel word and leave in ashes. For his words, Yunwu didn't bother to pay attention to him at all. He took a breath secretly, as if he just survived from his bad breath. However, if he really opened his mouth in front of her, I'm afraid Yunwu can't help knocking out his yellow teeth. Although she didn't want to be too conspicuous, the saint couldn't stand his stink. A moment. Sweeping his eyes, Yunwu took a deep breath and walked into the dirty everything market. Most of the roadside stalls are randomly paved with a rag, on which are all kinds of miscellaneous things. If you don't know what to do, you will be dizzy just to see those things that are not classified. After entering the market, Yunwu found that some people came alone, while others were surrounded by a guide. Maybe these people are a small group where the middle-aged man is working. They pick up new guests and draw some errands or commissions. After walking for a while, I got nothing. Until a slovenly old woman's stall attracted Yunwu's attention. The people who set up the stalls here are all in a mess, but the stall owners are all clean and tidy, only the old woman, who stands out from the crowd. Yunwu looks at the old woman's stall. No wonder she has few doors. The rags on the stalls are dirty. Even the things on the stalls are sticking to the soil, as if they had just been dug out of a cemetery. Just as Yunwu looks at it casually and plans to leave, there is a sudden change in the Hall of Chaos, like an induction to something. Yunwu originally attached great importance to the Chaos Hall. But now there is something strange in the Chaos Hall, and she immediately stopped. If you can make Chaos Temple feel something, there should be something good. Yunwu looked around to find out what made Chaos Hall move. When her eyes passed the slovenly old woman's stall, there was an obvious vibration in Chaos Hall. It's the stuff from that stall. Cloud dance in front of a bright, but quickly convergence from strange, suppressed the bottom of my heart excited, pretending to look at the seemingly casual, walk slowly toward the old woman. The old woman was a little excited when she saw that a guest finally came forward. What can I do for you, miss? Yunwu looked down at the booth, carefully sensing the reaction of Chaos Hall, and finally determined the target when he saw something the size of a thumb, and covered with a layer of soil. However, Cloud dance did not directly go to get that thing. Instead, It picked up a bracelet on the stall and seemed to be very interested in playing with it. The bracelet is the only clean thing in the booth. It has repeated patterns and many gems. It looks very valuable. How much is it? Seeing that Yunwoo picked up the bracelet, the old woman looked disappointed, but she still got up and vigorously promoted it. Miss, I have all these things from my ancestors. This bracelet has defensive ability and is a good thing to protect myself. Defensive capability? Yunwoo looked at the bracelet over and over again, which was a bit novel. She had heard that someone could make these things, but she had never seen them. You can tell me how much it is. I look pretty. It's good to buy it and play with it. The old woman's smell speech. The vision subconsciously swept Cloud Dance's body. Coat one eye, common appearance, the dress of servant girl. Just like a maid, can she have money? However, after squatting for a month, this was the first guest to come to the door, and immediately corrected his attitude. Miss, you have a good eye. Just this number. The old woman stretched out a hand and made a 5. Cloud Dance pick eyebrow. 500. The old woman turned black. 5,000. Cloud Dance curled his lips and looked at the other things on the stall in a lack of interest. Then you have to send something more. With that, Yunwoo picked up a pair of earrings on the stall, and the strange thing that made Chaos Palace. That's all. When Yunwoo picked up the eardrop, the old woman didn't respond, but after she picked up the strip covered with soil, the old woman's face suddenly didn't look good. Miss, it's not expensive for me to sell these things. Otherwise, I'll give you this eardrop, okay? Yunwoo knew at a glance that the old woman also knew that it was precious, but she was also sure of it. I've given you all the earrings. I don't know what they are. Why can't they? Cloud Dance is not too dirty to throw that mysterious object up and down in the hand. It's really an improper performance. Miss, it seems that you are not really ignorant. Why bother me, an old man? Cloud Dance want to muddle through to pick up cheap is difficult, simply said. Well, you make a price I buy. The old woman was a little excited. She just wanted to speak, but she swallowed her words again, as if she had some scruples. Cloud Dance frowns away. The thing that you put out still don't sell? If it wasn't for the fact that she had heard that there was an annoying law enforcement team in the everything market, she would have robbed it even if it was for the mysterious object that could make Chaos Hall react. 500,000, the bracelet will be given to the young lady. Cloud Dance eyes a stare, in the heart a burst of commit mutter, 500,000. How not to rob money? Even if she has a lot of gold and silver jewelry in her space, even if it's 500,000, she can afford it, but she can't take it out of the space in public. What's more, the old woman was obviously asking her for a lot of money. Seeing this, the old lady said slowly, if you don't want to buy it, please buy a bracelet. Here's 4,000. The Cloud Dances to smell speech, the eye ground glimmers, immediately understand. This old woman doesn't want to sell that mysterious item to her at all. At this time, the middle-aged man who was driven away by Yunwoo appeared behind her. See, understand, entered All Things Market to still want to play horizontal. Who dares to sell you real thing? Yunwoo glanced at him and said coldly, it doesn't seem to concern you, does it? If it's nothing, get out of here. When the middle-aged man was angry, he rolled up his sleeve, pointed to Yunwoo's nose and said, well, you smelly girl, you really don't know who I am. If I don't teach you a lesson today, I still need to be here. As soon as his voice fell, he waved his fist and wanted to give Yunwoo a beating. Cloud Dance face a cold, murderous just brush from the bottom of the eye. However, we haven't waited for the Cloud Dance to take action yet. A slightly thick voice came. Who dares to make trouble in the market of everything? Immediately, C3 wore uniform black clothes to wait on, but some fat rascal gas man came from another street. At the sight of the three people, the passers-by immediately avoided them as if they saw the god of pestilence. When the middle-aged man saw the comer, he suddenly changed into a flattering face. He said, my lord, you're here just in time. It's the smelly girl. She wants to break the rules of our market. Hand pointing at the Cloud Dance. The fat man, who is the leader, looks up and down at Yunwoo first, and seems to be determining her identity and value. But at this time Cloud Dance's servant girl's coarse clothes, Looks ordinary, in their eyes, no value, on the whole a soft persimmon. The leading fat tall man came forward, almost a head higher than Yunwoo, and looked down at Yunwoo haughtily. It's you who break the rules, isn't it? Cloud Dance listened to a cold smile in the heart. This is the law enforcement team of Everything Market? It's really wonderful that the law enforcement team should unite with these hooligans to kill the customers. No wonder this market will look like it now. I don't know whether I despise the owner of this market or sympathize with him. See Cloud Dance unexpectedly silent of, a little face don't give, that fat man some exasperation. Since you broke the rules, I'll teach you a lesson. Otherwise, you really don't know who owns this site. How dare you come here to be wild? The leading fat man said, and he was going to catch the Cloud Dance. Cloud Dance has long seen the strength of the other party. It's just a guy who is less than level 4. With her level in the middle of level 7, it doesn't take much effort to solve it. But at this time, before the Cloud Dance started, a strange and strong breath suddenly came from somewhere. In the twinkling of an eye, the fat man who was the leader flew out directly. Brush past. Along the way, many stalls were smashed, which caused the owners around them to yell and yell, and all those whose precious articles were smashed were scolded. Cloud Dance just along the direction of the breath looked in the past. I saw a strong and tall figure, standing on the roof not far away, a black dress swaying with the wind, with half of the ghost mask on his face. The mysterious and strange patterns are carved on the mask with platinum color, and several rubies are shining with brilliant light, which sets off the man more and more evil. This man to Cloud Dance feeling is a word, cold. Whether it's the golden eyes under his mask, or the beautiful half of his face without expression, or the breath from his whole body, it makes people feel that he is cold as if he was carved out of ice in extremely cold places. Just standing face to face with him can make people feel the chill of deep heart. Long Shao? Dragon's evil? No matter what kind of identity, this man's 2 faces, each one is the best of people. When people around him saw him appear, they all knelt down. This scene surprised Yunwoo. What's going on? How do you make that man look like an emperor? However, where does Yunwoo know that in the eyes of the people in the market of all things, this man is their emperor? And she did not seem to know that the strength and status of this evil man behind was amazing enough. Long Shao didn't look at the Cloud Dance, but coldly asked the people kneeling on the ground. Since when can I let you change the rules of the market for everything? The extremely cold voice was not big, but it was enough for people on their knees to hear it clearly, especially the law enforcement team and the middle-aged man. I saw that the law enforcement team and the middle-aged man who wanted to teach Yunwoo a lesson immediately turned pale. They dared to do so, just because Long Shao is a famous dragon. He can't appear once a year. Even if he does, he goes to the Dragon Pavilion and doesn't come to places like the Everything Market. Who knows that such a bad luck, unexpectedly will be Long Shao run into this kind of scene? People from outside don't know much about Long Shao, but they do. Long Shao, someone must die. Once he reaches his bottom line, even if today's events involve the whole Everything Market, this man will never have the idea of being compassionate. Distant still lying on the ground spitting blood, dying fat law enforcement team leader, is the best evidence. Long Shao, spare your life. The kids are just bullied by the law enforcement team. They don't dare not follow. I also paid a lot of protection fees to the market of all things. Middle-aged men respond quickly. Self-help is the most important. Others' life is a fart. However, he pretended to be clever and said the last sentence. I thought that maybe I could protect myself, but I didn't know that it would only become his life charm. You don't think the cost is enough? You'll still be short of money. Long Shao's voice line does not take a trace of emotion. With a wave of his hand, Ka sounds like the sound of bone fracture. The middle-aged man raised a parabola in the air and hit the fat law enforcement captain heavily. Cloud Dance watching this scene, feel very cool, do not have to do it yourself, also happy. This kind of scum is also harmful to others. Long Shao deals with the man and turns his eyes to Yunwoo. Originally, the cold and hard facial lines softened down. When he was dancing to the clouds, the corners of his mouth were slightly outlined, and the familiar evil smile of the clouds appeared on his lips. He went to Yunwoo, leaned close to her ear, low and ambiguous, asked, "Little thing, you look like this, I almost didn't recognize you. How come to my sight? Do you miss me?" In a word, it almost made Yunwoo want to spray him. He's in the middle of nowhere. She doesn't know it's his place. He never told her his identity as Dragon Little, let alone other things about him. Cloud Dance White He One Eye Way. Don't give me poor mouth, here seems not to be what Dragon Pavilion auction house. How can you suddenly appear here? And you know she's here. Even if this place is his territory, it doesn't look like the place where he will appear in the untidy market. Long Qingxia raised the corner of her lips and gently brushed her ear. You forget that you have my blood in your body. As long as you are close to me, I can feel it. Smell speech of Cloud Dance a lung. However, suddenly feel the bottom of my heart some uncomfortable. What does it mean that she has his blood in her body? It's so ambiguous that people who don't know think she's with him. Long Qingxia looks at Zhenglong's Cloud Dance, which means he doesn't know the evil spirit. However, in the twinkling of an eye, the extremely cold breath rose again, and glanced coldly at the two rogue law enforcement officers kneeling on the ground. Do it yourself. Don't wait for me to do it. Very cold words, but like ghosts from hell. The two members of the law enforcement team were paralyzed by the order, and there was no previous prestige. Long Xiao. One of them shivered and wanted to plead. He really didn't want to die. Dragon Qing evil but don't see. A breath brushed, almost didn't give anyone to see clearly, directly through him on a nearby flagpole. There was no time to wail, so the man was pierced by the flagpole and fell down. On the flagpole made of unknown metal, the man's blood slowly flowed down the top. The rest of them were so scared when they saw the man's miserable death that they could not think of anything else. They got up from the ground and tried to run for their lives. But obviously, no one has been able to escape from the Dragon Little. Under the eyelid, a bamboo stick picked up in one's hand passed through a shadow light brush. People didn't see clearly what was going on. The man who had just been rolling and crawling was stiff in the same place. The next second, with a poof sound and a mouthful of blood, his whole body fell to the ground. I saw that the bamboo stick just passed through the atrium, dyed with blood red, was inserted on the ground not far from the corpse. It was extremely bloody and creepy. Thick blood flow all over the ground. The air began to diffuse a disgusting smell of blood. All around silent, almost even the lowest pressure of breathing sound, afraid of one careless, the next will be on their own. Cloud Dance is a killer. It's used to living among the dead. What's more, it's just the scum in front of us. However, he still turned his head and swept the man with his bloodthirsty golden eyes. These are all your subordinates. You can kill them if you say so? Long Qingxia's white jade carved index finger reminds the cloud of a wisp of black hair, and lowers his head to smell it. It is clear that there is no action of intimate contact, but it makes Yunwoo feel inexplicably ambiguous and embarrassed. This man, even if put on a mask, change a face, but still nature does not change. Cloud Dance frowns of ground push away him, low voice cold way. You don't want face, I also want. However, the more Cloud Dance wants to distance itself from her, the more Dragon's evil will turn against her. With the extension of her long arm, the tall body will hang on her in public, and the thin lips will fit her small ear, like whispering and kissing. Little thing, you don't know how to be shameless for your husband. Why are you so shy every time? Cloud Dance hears speech, a burst of stuffy, really some hate can't find a sword to cut off his two arms. But now she is not as powerful as him. She can't compete at all. She can only let him hug her in broad daylight. In fact, even if she is really strong enough to fight with him, I'm afraid that this man's thick skin will take advantage of her before she stops. Now, All Things Square is silent. I don't know how many stall owners and guests are watching this scene in shock. Long Xiao? Is this the legendary Dragon Little? Has Long Xiao been so intimate with a woman? Who is that ordinary woman who is not outstanding? No wonder the law enforcement team died so miserably. Only because they provoked people who should not be provoked. At this time, Long Qingxia raised his eyes and gave a cold glance to the onlookers. Those bright or dark eyes immediately left. Well, what's good here? I'll take you to a more interesting place. Don't hold me. Let go. Long, are you deaf? I have something else to do. Yunwu, who was dragged along by Long Qingxia, was a little annoyed. He just kicked his leg. It seems that this foot is not painful to Long Qingxia. On the contrary, other people on the scene are all scared as if they had seen a ghost. The last one who dared to kick the dragon little. Now the grass at the head of the grave is higher than the man, right? This woman relies on Long Xiao to favor, unexpectedly is so lawless? To everyone's surprise, Long Qingxia was kicked. Instead of being angry, he could see the half-handsome face not covered by the mask with a deeper smile. Little thing, hit his pro scold as love. You this is to me and pro love, so all together to greet me? Cloud Dance is about to let the dragon pour evil that cheap mouth. To the gas back to go, have seen shameless, but really never seen such shameless. I haven't bought what I'm going to buy. What are you doing? What is there that you have to buy here? Long Qingxia didn't take the market of all things seriously. To put it bluntly, this is just the tip of one of his industries. Many of them are those who can't enter the dragon pavilion. After elimination, they gather to do small businesses. It's just a group of ants. Cloud Dance grabs the air and looks back. Then she sees that the slovenly old woman is packing up and wants to sneak away. She shouts, "Don't go, you stop." The old woman trembled with fright, and the rags and baggage in her hand went away, and all kinds of dirty things clattered all over the ground. Long Qingxia saw what fell on the ground, and his eyes narrowed slightly. He walked over with Cloud Dance and asked coldly, "It's dug out from below?" The old woman's legs softened and fell to her knees with a puff. She kowtowed to the dragon and cried. She told the truth about the origin of these things. "Long Xiao, these were dug up by my man. He said they were good things in the graveyard. I sold them here for a month. This young lady is the first one to come and ask about business. I didn't know that this young lady was yours. Long Xiao, please spare your life. All these things have been given to the young lady." With that, the old woman began to slap herself, one slap harder than the other. After a few times, the chapped skin on her cheeks had swollen up, and she looked even more miserable. Yunwu frowned slightly. To tell you the truth, the old woman didn't seem guilty either. At least, there's nothing wrong with her. Cloud Dance look at the side of evil smile looking at their own dragon Qing Evil. How can not understand the man's mind? Nevertheless, pour also or open mouth. Okay, stop. The old woman seized it for a while, but she slapped herself twice. However, seeing that Long Qingxia didn't mean to kill Yunwu after she opened her mouth, the old woman quickly said to Yunwu, "Thank you, miss. Spare your life, thank you." If it were not for this woman, Long Xiao would not be so easy to talk. Now, Long Qingxia glanced at the dirty things in that place. Although he didn't see anything special about those things, it should be what she wanted to make this little thing so nervous. "What do you want?" Yunwu ignored him and squatted down in the mess. Anyway, he soon found the mysterious object, which happened to be with the bracelet. So I took it in my hand. It seemed that I put it in my pocket. In fact, I put it into the space first. I planned to go back later and see what caused the chaos hall to move. Cloud Dance clapped his hands, stood up and said to the dragon, "What I want has been taken. You give me money first." Long Qingxia couldn't help laughing when he heard the words, and a smile flashed across his eyes. "Little things with progress have learned to take the initiative to spend my money. Don't you treat yourself as an outsider?" Cloud Dance threw him a white eye. "I mean, you pay for me first, I'll pay you back later. She has a lot of gold and silver jewelry in her space, but it's not convenient to take it out now, and she doesn't have much cash on her body. So I want to ask this man to cushion first, and then pay him back later. But this cheap man likes to take advantage of her verbally." However, when the old woman heard that Yunwu was arguing with Long Qingxi about whether to give money, she was so scared that she began to kowtow again. "Since Miss likes it, just take it away. It's my blessing. No money, no money." "I'm kidding. Who dares to take Long Xiao's money? It's a long life. No money?" Yunwu thought she had heard wrong. At this time Long Qingxia only said coldly, "Roll, don't let me see you later." Yes, I will never let Long Xiao get in the way in the future. The old woman didn't clean up her things, so she got up and ran to the exit of Everything Market, like running for her life. Cloud Dance see this. The corner of the mouth can't help but some twitch way. You this is in their own territory to rob? Dragon Qing evil smell words, but evil hook lips a smile. Rob. You go and ask. Did anyone say I was robbing? The dragon tilted his heresy and looked around at the other people present. All of them shook their heads and said the same thing. We are willing to give things to Long Xiao. Yes, it's our blessing. Cloud Dance smell speech. Can't help but sweep an eye. That all around kneeling of stall owner. Suddenly all have some shame. This man is almost the emperor of these people. No one dares to disobey. No one dares to offend him. It's like he's in charge of life and death for all of them. Looking at these, Yunwu was silent. If one day she can also have her own side of the power, perhaps by then, all the problems can be solved. At that time, why did she have to be so secretive that she didn't even have the ability to resist? What do you think? Little thing, would you like me to take you to the Dragon Pavilion? Just as the Cloud Dance was meditating, the dragon asked in a low voice. Dragon Pavilion? Yunwu originally intended to see the Dragon Pavilion. Lead the way. Cloud Dance opens its mouth. Although she has contacted this man several times, she really doesn't know anything about him. On the handsome face under the mask of Dragon Qingxia, the corners of his mouth slowly rose, and he was so charming and enchanting with a smile. You little thing, you still ordered me to come for my husband. I saw his voice just fell, and before Yunwu could react, he stretched out his long arm, pulled her and let her fall into his arms. Yunwu frowned and looked up at him. Let go, what shame. Be good, the evil voice of the dragon is deep. Let go. If you don't let go, don't blame me for being impolite. Cloud Dance's eyes are slightly sharp, and a silver needle has appeared between his fingers. In fact, she knew that with her current strength, she could not hurt him at all. Really angry? You're a little thing. You're not big, but you have a big temper. Okay, I'll leave you alone. Don't be so angry. Look at yourself. You'll shake off the powder on your face. The man helplessly softened his voice. But it held her hand, but it didn't mean to let go. Cloud Dance squints, whisks the hand to attack toward the back of his hand. However, Long Qingxia's reaction is very fast. Before the Cloud Dance hands pass by, he has put her hands behind him and hugged her face to face. Little thing. Do you have to tie up your little hands every time so that you can be more peaceful? Language falls, he suddenly lowers a head. In her forehead bow a good big voice. Cloud Dance a lung. Wait for reaction to come over, face a red, heartbeat fast half beat. But she quickly covered it up and said, Dragon, believe it or not, I'll sew your mouth up. Damn it, she is the top killer, but she has been taken advantage of by him every time. She has no face. And now, in full view of the public, she is not as shameless as he is. Sooner or later, it's my man. What's the harm? Long Qingxia laughs. But the next moment, as soon as the words changed, the man's voice suddenly sank down. As for these people, they will see it as if they did not see it. If they dare to chew the tongue, I will make them regret living in this world. At this moment, the people who were still secretly aiming around suddenly lowered their heads, shivered in a cold sweat, and almost didn't bury their heads in the soil. Long Xiao's business, who dares to chew the tongue? You know, no one in the Three Kingdoms knows that Long Xiao is the incarnation of the devil in the legend. He is the richest and most powerful in the Three Kingdoms. The clouds frown. This man, if it's really cloudy and sunny, changes his face in a twinkling of an eye. The big hand that hugged her waist was like iron prison. She struggled and the wind didn't move. Cloud Dance in the heart can't help a burst of stuffy. Let go first. Looking at her, Long Qingxia's eyes flashed a smile, released her confinement, raised his hand, and touched her head like a pet. What are you doing? Yunwu pats his hand open, and when she wants to coax her, she touches her head. Dragon Qing evil deeply a smile, however, also didn't say what. Rather overbearing, she took her hand and walked to the other side of the street. You let go, I'll go with you. The Cloud dances, frowns and whispers. What? Are you really shy? Long Qingxia looks at her and laughs. Think what you like. He wanted to take his hand back from his big hand, but the man held it more tightly. All of a sudden, Yunwu only felt that he was pulled by a strong force, a flower in front of his eyes, a body hanging in the air, and the whole person was picked up by him. You said that. After picking up the woman, Long Qingxia smiles wildly. Without waiting for her reaction, he walks around several streets and towards the most luxurious high-rise building in the city. Dragon Pavilion. Built in the most prosperous area in the south of the imperial city, 5 stories high. Every brick and tile is decorated with the most luxury. In contrast, maybe even the imperial palace is not so luxurious. In the eyes of the royal family, if they dare to build such arrogant and luxurious buildings, I'm afraid the Dragon Pavilion is the only one in the whole Zhou dynasty. As we all know, the name of Longa spread all over the business circles of the Zhou dynasty. As long as the business is involved, there will be the footprints of Longa. It can be said that the business is all over the world. However, the leader of the Dragon Pavilion seldom appears in public. Even if he appears, he has a ghost mask on his face, which is extremely mysterious. The world only knows his name, Long Xiao. When Long Qingxia appeared in the Dragon Pavilion with a woman in her arms, many people were surprised. Of course, those are all inside Longa. Long Xiao, you are back. Roland has come back and is waiting for you. An old man came forward and looked respectfully but curiously at the woman in the arms of Long Qingxia. Long Qingxia glanced at the old man and said, well, let her wait and come directly to the attic. With that, when he was about to walk towards the attic, he suddenly thought of something and stopped. Mr. Lin, let someone send a suit of women's clothes first, white one. Then it disappeared into the corridor. The attic. It's the top floor of the Dragon Pavilion. It's also the private area of the dragon's house. The structure of the homeroom is also luxurious. In the room, the woman in his arms is put on the bed and he sits down with him. Looking at the woman's angry eyes, Long Qingxia was in a strange mood. Smile, evil spirit on one's face. It is you that say to let me want how? Want to go back? Said that slender good-looking fingertips, gently toward her chest skirt brush, down came to the belt. If you don't speak, I'll take it as your consent. Yunwu's face is gloomy, and he stares at the men around him. He hates his teeth. This damned man, actually insidious when she is unprepared. She points her acupoints. Now she can't move or speak. Can she speak now? Little thing. Do you know what I like to see most is that you are so eager to tear me apart that I can't help it every time blood is boiling. As he spoke in a soft voice, his fingertips gently picked and the tether of his belt loosened. With a flick, the belt was untied and the clothes came loose. The clothes are about to be stripped off. Cluck. At the door, there was a knock. Master, it's me. A soft and beautiful female voice. Dragon Qing, evil eyebrow, I see you. Gold mouth flashed a touch of warm anger, cold light. Hand a stretch of pull over the quilt. The woman covered tightly, just cold mouth. Come in. The door opened, a light red dress, beautiful and enchanting figure, slowly came in. This woman is not others. It is that day in Los Angeles Longa auction branch, the female auctioneer, Roland. In her hand, she was holding a white dress. Master, this is what Mr. Lin asked me to bring together. The woman said softly. In the dark, her cold eyes have swept toward the bed quietly. When you see a cloud dance with ordinary appearance lying on the bed, your eyes are slightly cold. I think I just heard the news. Cloud dance can't move, but when the cold sight sweeps, it is still clear that there is a touch of hostility hidden. Put it down and go out. Long Qingxia glanced at her, and only said a faint word. Roland converged her eyes, raised her eyes, and looked at the handsome and evil dragon with admiration. Master, if you see that girl's face is not very good, let Roland serve that girl. Before he finished, he was interrupted by the cold sight. Get out. Extremely cold, 2 words, but enough to make her whole body blood coagulation. Roland understood that she angered him, because he never allowed anyone to disobey his orders. It's the master. Wolin will go down and wait for you in the side hall. There's an important report. Wolin had already gathered up her strange emotion. And then she put her clothes on the table and left the room immediately. She has been with him for 10 years, and she is very clear about his temper. Smart, she always knows how to restrain her advance and retreat. Otherwise, she can't be his right hand and stay with him for 10 years. The door closed again. The man brushed his hand and inhaled, and the clothes on the table flew to his hand. Little thing, I have to do something for my husband first. After you change your clothes, just stay here for a while, and take you to a place later. The dragon leans evil spirit to smile away, which still has just of chilly. Yunwoo looks at the speed of the man's face changing, and comes to another conclusion. This man is absolutely insidious and cunning. Even if he is a murderer, he still says that he is a good person with a smile. Language falls. Longqing evil toward her chest heel shoulder side position point for a while, untied acupoint. The next second, a palm wind hit his handsome face. Suddenly, the palm was cut off in midair, and the big palm grasped her wrist. Yunwoo wants to draw back her hand, but Long Qingxia has great strength. The more she struggles, the tighter he holds it. You let go. The cloud danced on him. Long Qingxia raised his mouth and said, Let go, let me slap you? You little wildcat, you can't be tamed. Do you really want me to peel you and eat you in advance so that I can be more comfortable? If you want me to surrender, it's your destination. I tell you, it's never possible, or you'll kill me now, or one day. I'll step on you and let you taste all kinds of humiliation. Even if you can't beat him, you'll beat him to death. Smell speech, Longqing evil but haha laughs. Little thing, what's on your mind? Who says I want you to surrender to me? Don't you know that what I want is always your heart? Her heart? In her previous life, she was betrayed by the most loved and trusted people at the same time. Her heart has already been broken. How can she still have a heart in this life? Even though, when I was in the northern Warcraft forest, I did feel a little moved to protect him for his life. After all, I was once bitten by a snake for 10 years, and I was afraid of grass rope. Yunwoo glanced at him coldly and said coldly, Don't waste your efforts. My heart has already been lost to feed the wild dog. However, Long Qingxia's slender index finger was deep in her mouth, which tempts Xie to smile. It's not right. It's empty. My husband can just stay in your empty heart, become your heart, and become one with you. You can say those words. Are you disgusting? The cloud dances and frowns. Baby, in order to get your heart, I can be more disgusting. Do you want to try? The dragon leans evil and plays cunning. The cloud dance is very angry. This man is more cunning and cheap than the fox. I really want to smash his beautiful smile with a fist. Just when the cloud dance was stuffy, she suddenly felt that her eyes were dazzled. She had been pulled into his arms, and her eyes were enchanting. The sight bumps into that enchanting and charming eye. The heart suddenly pours some disorderly. I don't know if he used Dementor on her. I can't move my eyes. Cloud dance feel throat is stuck. Lung is can't say a word. Half ring, heart alarm age ring, she just recovered. But the dragon has bent down, the hot breath brushed her sensitive earlobe, the evil eyes, with a trace of hegemonic evil. You. The cloud dances in a panic. Words just export, red lips by that hot thin lips attack, aggressive, unstoppable. Oh. Red lips were seized, soft and hot overbearing. Cloud dance want to sober eyes, but meet the man that pair of evil black eyes. Gradually feel a blank mind, dizzy up. His kiss is strong and overbearing, and his attack is like a bolt from the blue, attacking the city and territory in her mouth. Yunwoo resisted, but he couldn't push it away. On the contrary, he was imprisoned like iron and hurt her. The overwhelming kiss of fanaticism, overbearing, strong, yet gentle. For a moment, she lost herself and indulged in his strong and domineering gentle country. It was not until he was so forgetful that he almost started the fire out of control that the man was willing to let go of the sweet. Yunwoo gasps, his eyes are intoxicated, and his coat is half taken off. However, 3 seconds later, the cloud danced slowly, and a fierce anger flashed at the bottom of my eyes. Pala. Crisp gravity slap, left in the man's handsome face. This action is almost subconscious. Long Qingxia's slender fingertips gently brushed her slapped cheek, and the black eyes of the evil spirits were cold and bloodthirsty. Make Cloud Dance inexplicably frightened. But the next second, he reached out and rubbed her head. His tone was rather spoiled and he said, "Now you're not angry?" It means that he is willing to be slapped by her just to make her calm down. His behavior, it seems, is to bite her hard, and then give a sweet date to coax her. If he can be cruel to her in the end, then, even if she kowtows her head, she will let him off a piece of skin. But now his behavior makes Yunwu angry, but he has nothing to do with it. If you're not angry, just be nice and wait for me to come back. The man's hot eyes swept her red lips, and then he didn't stay in the room, worried that he couldn't help it. Cloud Dance watched the man leave the closed door, clenched his fists. When he comes back, this man really regards himself as an emperor. Cloud Dance ignored the bottom of the heart that wiped strange feeling, neat out of bed, frowning glance at the head of the bed that said of white dress. To be honest, Yunwu doesn't like to wear white clothes. However, just also don't know that man after all is intentional. The dress of the servant girl that she wears now gave Tira sun. This is for her to change if she doesn't want to. The Dragon Pavilion has 5 floors, and the top floor is the private place for the dragon to pour out evil spirits. On the 4th floor, some internal members are in charge of the high-rise area. The 3rd level is the information gathering area from all over the country. The 2nd floor is the business information area. The 1st floor is a collection of tourists. Each layer is an orderly division of labor, and different regions are in charge of different passenger flow information and administration. With the modern business group, if you put this man in modern times, he is absolutely the top person in the business world. However, now he seems to have been. Leaving from the attic, Yunwu turns around the Dragon Pavilion from top to bottom. Although he doesn't show it, he can't help looking at the man a little differently. Because it's the woman Long Xiao brought back, so no one stopped Yunwu from walking. After a circle of Cloud Dance, in the bustle of people on the 1st floor, he was ready to leave outside the Dragon Pavilion. "Miss, please stay." Long Xiao orders that Miss can only walk within the scope of the Dragon Pavilion. Before he reached the door, he was blocked by 2 high guards in black uniform who came out of nowhere. Cloud Dance eyebrow a CU, sweep to that obstruct 2 men of her way. They are both in their early 30s, expressionless, steady and restrained. They are well-trained practitioners. There is a cold pride between their eyebrows. The 6th stage. The bodyguards guarding the gate are all 6th level strength. It seems that the people who can be in the Dragon Pavilion are not vulgar. However, after a tour in Longa, Yunwu has no interest in staying. If I have something else to do, I won't stay. Cloud Dance said, tiptoe a turn, around there continue to walk toward the door. "Miss, please come back. Don't embarrass us and yourself." The tall bodyguard, with a flash of body shape, suddenly stood in front of Yunwu and said in a cold voice, "Embarrassing yourself? Is he threatening her? Get out of the way. Miss, please come back or we won't be offended." Another guard, with a low voice, said coldly. The cloud danced, and there was a cold flash in his eyes. With a flash of silver light, his feet moved, his body was as fast as electricity. The cold light approached, and a cold dagger cut the skin of the tall guard's neck. The next second, the dagger with the smell of blood was on the other side of the guard's neck. Since this is the man's territory, why does she have to hide all the time? What's more, she didn't really kill her. Otherwise, there were 2 corpses lying on the ground. The scene of Cloud Dance is almost completed at one go. When all the people on the scene reacted, they all stopped their work and looked at Yunwu with surprise. How can it be so fast? In other people's eyes, although Cloud Dance is wearing an expensive white gauze skirt, it can look ordinary, and it can't feel any fluctuation of fighting spirit. In this case, most people think that, in terms of her age, she should be just a woman with very low strength. But now, the situation has greatly broken people's glasses. That you're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.